Sandra. Welcome to another episode of Asexualized, my asexual life. This is a place to be for education about asexuality, all things asexual, and I share my own asexual life journey in order to help you in yours. If you haven't already subscribed, please hit the great big subscribe button down below right here, right now. Please hit that bell icon to get notified of every time I go live right now or post a new video. And don't forget to give this video a thumbs up if you're enjoying the content, find it useful, helpful, insightful, or entertaining way, or if you just want to give this channel or content some love. Really does help me out. Please hit the thumbs up button. And if you don't know who I am Sandra Bellamy, author of this beautiful book, Asexual, 47 asexual stories, love, life and sex, a celebration of asexual diversity. I'm also the founder of asexuality.com, the founder of Asexualized Academy, and I try to do a live stream every single night. I cover topics like asexual dating, asexual relationships, all across the asexual spectrum. And I also include personal development and personal growth videos for asexuals as well. So let's get stuck into tonight's show. So why is it so hard to be happy? Now, this is a question I actually got in a private message from someone on asexuality. Not on asexuality, sorry, Ace Book. Which is spelled ace-book.net. It's an asexual dating site and social networking site for asexuals. And it's a chance for people to get to know each other, to possibly date, and also for people to make friends and converse in forums, that type of thing. So one of the people on there private messaged me because they saw my asexual meetup post, the asexual meetup that I had yesterday. And they said they were thinking about coming. And they said to me, Sandra, why is it so hard to be happy? My reply was, I'm happy, right? They weren't asking me, how do I be happy? They were just saying, why is it so hard to be happy? And I said, I'm happy. So why is it one person can be happy and another person not? And how do you be happy? So that's what I'm going to be discussing in this live stream. So first of all, you might want to know, this person messaged me when I first found out I was asexual. I found out I was asexual in 2014, and I believe it was that year they messaged me. Certainly within the first 12 months of me finding out I was asexual, this person messaged me. So it's been about 5 years now, because we're coming to the end of 2019. And this person was quite miserable when they were speaking to me in their private messages. This person was actually the one years ago who asked to share a bed with me, despite me not even knowing much about them, other than the fact they messaged me occasionally, quite sort of formal messages, and was talking like they were quite miserable with life, right? Which obviously isn't very appealing, and there's no way I'm gonna share a bed with anyone other than a boyfriend if I had one, and certainly not some random stranger off a site that I don't even know, that's barely even spoke to me, right? It's just not gonna happen, right? So obviously that is a bit strange. But aside from that, it was a good question, because a lot of asexuals do struggle to find out why it's so hard to be happy. And here is my full, in-depth, as well as short advice. So first of all, in most simplistic terms, right, doesn't have to be hard to be happy. Why? Because you just choose to be happy. Yeah, you choose to be happy, right? You choose to be happy. This is a huge secret to happiness. You have to choose yourself to be happy without anyone else's help, without any events happening in your life, without any friends, family, or anyone making you happy. You have to choose to be happy on a regular daily basis, because if you don't choose to be happy on a regular daily basis, what is your life going to be like? It's not going to be very good, is it? because your quality of life is not going to be based on your own self, which you have to spend 24/7 with, 365 days a year with. Now, if you're not prepared to make yourself happy, why should anyone else make you happy? Why? Why should anyone else make you happy? Why does anyone else need to make you happy? Why do you deserve anyone else to make you happy when you can't make yourself happy? Right? If you can't make yourself happy, why should anyone else make you happy? Why do you put the emphasis on everyone else, external factors making you happy? Happiness starts from within. Hello. Hi, Martin. It's lovely to see you. Thanks for coming on my live stream. So you have to choose to be happy, right? And I didn't understand this. When I suffered with depression for years, I didn't get it. No one told me you have to choose to be happy. I thought happiness was something that you got due to circumstances. Hi, Andy. Nice to see you. I thought happiness was something you got from circumstances, right? With some things that happened in your life. Like if you got a job you loved, you'd be happy. If you got friends you loved, you'd be happy. If you got people saying nice stuff to you all the time, you'd be happy, right? Which, yeah, you probably would be happy with that. But what happens throughout all the times, the days, the hours when you are with yourself, you're not with friends, you're not with family, you know, things may not be going right the way you want them to go. What happens then, right? You can choose in those moments to be unhappy, or you can choose to be happy. So when it says, why is it so hard to be happy? It's hard because you are making it difficult by not choosing to be happy for yourself. And the hard thing is people haven't told you that in your life. No one's told you as a kid, you have to choose your own happiness. You have to choose to be happy, right? Because when we're a kid, we want toys to play with to make us happy. We expect our parents to make us happy. We expect to get friends at school to make us happy, right? It doesn't always work out that way, as you know. Like I was bullied in school. I know quite a few asexuals that were bullied. And life can be really difficult and really tough, right? And I think as a child, it's a lot harder, especially obviously between the ages of 0 to 6 or 7. That is when your life is shaped and formed, and whatever happens in those years can affect you for the rest of your life. And those years we have to constantly work on in our adulthood to work through the problems and issues and traumas that happened in those very, very early years. A lot of people, even around the world, they do have a lot of childhood trauma, and that affects people as adults. It's an ongoing process, but instead of thinking about you want to run away from it, you have to face it and deal with it head on, and you have to be prepared to realize that you have to have this journey of putting the past behind you and working through the trauma and accepting that it happened to you and that there's nothing you can do about it apart from let it go and move on and realize that you are a good and beautiful person, and that those people that did those horrible and nasty things to you, that was their bad, not you. That was them doing bad to you. It was them being horrible to you. It was them not being good to you. It wasn't your fault. The onus is on them. However, as adults, we get a choice to decide how we want to show up in this world, how we want to react to other people. And I'm not sitting here saying it's absolutely easy and that I get it right all the time. I'm not saying I never get upset. I'm not saying I ever don't feel sad or occasionally freak out and start crying occasionally. Sometimes that does happen to me. I'm not perfect. I'm a human being. We're all human and we have to cut ourselves some slack, right? We can't be perfect. We'll have good days. We'll have not so good days, right? But overall, we should be choosing to be happy, right? The hard part is people are waiting for something to happen in their life all the time to make them happy. That guy has been waiting about 5 years since I've known him on Facebook to be happy. Like 5 years later, he's still saying to me, why is it so hard to be happy? Because he hasn't chosen to be happy. He's waiting for some great big thing to happen in his life to make him happy. His happiness is in his hands like it's in yours, right? So I'll take two people, right? just as an example, right? Both lose their jobs, right? Both lose their jobs to redundancy, right? Two people, right? Both lose their jobs to redundancy, right? One person blames themselves even though the store was closing down, right? They blame themselves for losing their job, and they feel really bad about themselves. They're worried sick about paying rent, about paying bills. They don't know what's going to happen to them in their future. They're just all confused. They're completely disorientated. They feel really bad. They're so upset because they blame themselves, even though there's no logic to them blaming themselves because the store is shutting down. But if the store's shutting down, they can't physically stay in the building, right? It's gone. It's going, right? And they feel that they really love their job, and it was just like the carpet had been pulled from underneath their feet, and they feel like totally lost and is dismay, and they don't know what the heck to do, right? And they're kind of like just so upset. That's all they can focus on, right? This other person loses their job. They're also, hi, Sam. This other person. So I'm taking two separate realities, right? Two separate people, right? So this other person, right? They lose their job to redundancy, right? They think, okay, this has happened. This is not great, me losing my job to redundancy, but I get my redundancy payout, which is good. There were some problems. I liked my job, but there were some problems, One of the members of staff, or more than one of the members of staff, was horrible to me. I had to behave a certain way in my job because of standards, expectations, and other people being like robots and told what to do and pulling in line. And I've never been one to like fall into line. I like to live my own life and to speak my own mind and to be my own person. But in a job, you can't really do that because there's constraints about rules and regulations. And there's parts of the job that were really boring. I was stood around doing nothing. And yeah, I've always wanted to do my own business stuff. And so this is an opportunity to seize my dreams and to have chance to work on my own business stuff. And this person believes in God, the planet, the world, the universe, and they believe that everything happens for a reason, and that this has happened in their life because they're not supposed to be on that path. They're not supposed to be working for an employer in that specific job. They're supposed to be doing something else in their life, right? They're supposed to be doing something else with their life. They're not supposed to be in this job. And the God, the world, the planet, the universe, what they believe in, that everything happens for a reason, and it's God's, or the if you believe in spirituality, it's the powers that be, the universe, that have chosen this person to take out of their current job, because there's no way they are going to live their dream if they continue doing the same thing, because it's not what they really want. It's not their heart's desire. It's not what they really want. Now, this person is still crying. They're still upset they've lost their job. They're still blaming themselves. And they haven't quite twigged yet what they're going to do with their life, right? So they don't know. They're in a state of quandary at this point, right? Okay, so two different scenarios, right? This is the same reality. They're both experiencing the same thing, but it's the same reality as in the thing that happened to them, but it's two completely different realities. One is a pessimistic mindset. It's a fraught with fear, worry, anxiety. It's very, very, very negative and pessimistic, right? The other person's mindset is using the traumatic event of losing their job and the fact their life is changing. They're using it to their advantage. They're using it to their positive advantage. Their mindset is positive, right? It's the same thing that's happened to both of them, but two different views. This is what I mean. You have to choose your reality. You choose your reality. You can choose to be happy and have a happy, wonderful life, or you can choose to have a miserable, cynical, pessimistic life. It's your choice. And people don't realize this, or they're not prepared to accept it. So, oh no, it's her fault. It's his fault. You have to accept responsibility for your own life. Everything that happens in your life happens for a reason, and it is your life, not anyone else's. It's called yours for a reason because it's your responsibility. You have to accept responsibility for everything in your life. Every action you do has a reaction. Everything you do in your life, there's a consequence for, right? And life isn't always going to be black and white. Life isn't always going to be good. Life isn't always going to go smooth. It's going to go up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down. But that's why you need to have this positive mindset about things rather than this negative mindset about things. Right. Martin, one of them will be happy because at least I won't have to resist punching that guy in the face anymore, as I no longer have to share a building with them. That's very accurate, Martin. Very accurate. That is absolutely accurate. That is absolutely accurate. Do you know who that person is? Oh, and thanks for the thumbs up. Whoever gave me a thumbs up, love you lots. More thumbs up would be fabulous. So that is really, really good because I know these two people very, very, very well, right? I know both of these people really well because this is how I know that this is true, right? And so the first person who was very, very pessimistic and very, very worried and really, really blamed themselves for a very, very long time, there came a point when this person actually started to change their mind a little bit. They started to use redundancy as a time of reflection. And they started to use redundancy as a time of thinking, like, what do I actually want to do with my life? And what do I hope to achieve with it going forward? And so this was a very, this was a pessimistic, negative mindset that eventually did start thinking a bit more positively. But of course, this person here that's already thinking positively, they are already way ahead of this person. Because instead of spending and wasting all this time on this negative energy, on this upset and pain and being distraught and really blaming themselves, really blaming themselves, like with no need to, this person has already thought, well, I could actually see my redundancy coming. But I didn't think it'd happen at the time. But I wasn't actually meant to be doing this job. I've got away from the person or people who were bullying me. I got away from being a robot. I actually can slip out of that job and still be confident and comfortable and believe that my life will be great and even better than it's ever been, because this is the opportunity that I have been gifted to actually spend some time doing what I love. Now, this person, like I said, they did get to the stage eventually where they had these reflections, and their life did start to change. They started to see that writing, which they absolutely have always enjoyed doing, and they weren't sure whether that's what they were really 100% into. All of a sudden, it dawned on them that they really are born to write. And all of a sudden the realization came in that moment that writing was their thing 100%. They were born to write. And so this redundancy that had been negative and pessimistic and really bad for them suddenly started to become good for them. And this person actually started a writing course. Can you believe it? And they actually got their first ever article published in a magazine and paid for. And they got a star letter into a writing newsletter, and they got paid for that. So this person went from really, really negativity to eventually being positive, right? But this person was already way ahead of that person, right? Which might have some bearing on the fact that this person was years ago than this person, right? Now, you might think, how do I know these two people so well? Do you know how I know these two people so well? Do you know? Anyone in the chat, do you know how I know these two people so well? And it's really interesting about what Martin said. One of them will be happy, this one here, because at least they won't have to resist punching that guy in the face anymore, as they no longer have to share the same building with them. And it is absolutely true. And so do you know who these people are, right? Both of these people are me. I was that person when I was first made redundant, and I was that person when I was last made redundant. I've been made redundant 3 times in my life, and they are both me. So when I said they were 2 completely different people, it's like they were 2 completely different people, because that's the older version of me, and this is the newer version of me. But in actual fact, they were both me, and they both are me. And you are absolutely correct, Martin, that there was someone in my last job, actually, when I was made redundant in 2017, which was the last time I was made redundant, a guy that really bullied me, and I was very nasty, and it was the year that I actually complained about him. Whether or not the complaint and the redundancy happening in the same year happened to have anything to do with it, I don't know. But they never replaced a person in my job, so obviously, logically, that would mean that they didn't get rid of me because I complained about the guy, because they would have got someone else in, and they still haven't. But yeah, it's good. Well done for guessing. And yeah, and so this person, the first person, I was that person, and that was way back. When was it? Oh my gosh, it was a long time ago. Oh yeah, I remember you talking about someone like that, your job, I think. Yes, exactly, Martin. Yeah, the first time I was made redundant, the first time, that's what sparked me to write my redundancy book. So if you didn't know, I wrote a book called Break Through the Barriers of Redundancy to Get Back into Work, an A to Z how-to guide, which I will actually put the link down below after this video, because I've never linked to that before. And that book took me 2.5 years to write. And in 2009, I think it was 2009, was it, that I was first made redundant? Yeah, it was incredible, because I got my first article ever published that year in a magazine, and my first I got a star letter published as well. So it's the first article that's ever published. So then I was classed as a professional writer, because I got paid for my writing in a magazine. So yeah, so and if I hadn't have decided fully back in that time, 2009, seems like a long time ago, that I was, 2009 it was. I was just looking at the redundancy book. Oh, bless you, Sam. Yeah, Sam's got my redundancy book. If you haven't got it, go and get it. It's really good. It got a lot of life skills in there on your Kindle. That's really good, yeah, because I know that you're looking for jobs, aren't you, Sam, and wanting some help. I told, and doing thing about voluntary work and work experience. The Breakthrough the Barriers of Redundancy book is an absolutely good book. It's only available in a Kindle format at the moment. But one day I might get into print, because it was always my dream to get that one into print. But I might do a little tiny bit of extra work on that at the very end, adding something to do with the new thing that I'm coming out this year, next year, because we're still in 2019. I've got it. Yes, Andy's got the book as well, Breakthrough the Barriers of Redundancy. Another awesome book. Yes, Andy's got it, and Sam got it. I was looking for a print copy. Oh, Sam, I'll have to, yeah, I can't get it out and print at the moment. But yes, I thought you might be looking for a print copy, actually. It's always my intention to do a print copy. But yeah, if I do a print copy, it takes me about a month to get that sorted at least. But and a lot of hassle as well, sadly. But yeah, that is really interesting, because I know I'd probably sell a lot more of that book if it was in print, and I probably will put it in print. But I'm going to do it with another business next year, because I'm going to write an extra chapter about how to make money online, which will go with my new business next year about how to make money online. So there you go. So yes, because obviously that book about redundancy has got some stuff to do with self-employment in it. But back then, I didn't actually know specifically how to create money online back when I wrote it. It came out in 2015. I know this is kind of off topic, and I forgot if I told you this, but it's been nearly 3 years since I started writing myself. Oh, congratulations, Martin. I don't think you told me that, because I don't think I know that you started writing. I know you do your videos, Martin was my cameraman, by the way, at the UK Asexual conference last year, July 2018. So if you haven't yet watched those conference videos, search my channel. And Martin did all the video work on there. It's got links to his channel on there. And he was in my book as well. He was in this book, Asexual Perspectives book. I know I can say that because Martin's already said before that he's in this book publicly on this channel. But yes, he's in this book. It's really, really good. Really good. Don't forget to get a copy if you haven't already. And that one is out in print as well as Kindle. Right. Yeah, so I didn't know you were writing, Martin. Nothing proper as such, like with books, but I can show you afterwards if you want, if you think you'll like it. I haven't got time to read anything right now, Martin, just to be honest with you. Oh yeah, that 5 Mark 2N in the book is so great. Yeah, I haven't got time to read anything at the moment, Martin, just so you know. I've just had to tell all my interviewees for the Asexual Guide to Sex book, which is the one I'm currently working on, that I cannot do any work on that book until 6th of January, because I'm literally every single day now working on my Asexual Meetup Mastery course, because Andy, who's in the chat here, is really wanting to buy it, because Andy's holding Asexual meetups now, and he wants my experience to further his knowledge to do the best meetups ever. So that is what I'm doing now, all the way up to, you know, to Christmas. As soon as I get that finished, I've got other stuff that I have to do. So literally I have to get on with loads and loads of stuff. So if it was a case of reading through something, I haven't got the time to dedicate to that at the moment. Not because I don't care about what you do, but just because I can't split my time anymore. I've been getting all right, fair enough, I can show you whenever you want. Yeah, no rush. I know you haven't been on this channel very much, Martin, but for 2 weeks I lost my voice. I couldn't even live stream because I've been very, very ill. It's going to be super helpful. Thank you, Andy. Yeah, the Asexual Meetup Mastery course will be really good, but it's about 35 sections, you know. I've also found something else I didn't even tell you was in. Well, oh yeah, I totally understand. It's fine. Yeah. So basically, I'm trying just to stay focused on one thing at the moment. I've got 7 projects that I need to finish. 3 of them are new businesses next year. One of them is kind of a new business. It's a remodel of a different one. I'll be interested in that book as well, the Asexual Meetup one. Oh, the Asexual Meetup isn't a book. It's a course. It's an online training course teaching people how to organize their own asexual meetups. It's a premium course, and it literally goes through everything. Like, it goes through a live meetup, which was a meetup I organized for Sam's birthday, actually. So it goes all through that, what I did for it. Like, it introduces, you know, like what you need, what qualities you need as an organizer, how to be inclusive and deal, you know, cater for people with special needs and disabilities in the course, how to plan where to go. It's got loads of ideas for different things to do, types of places to go, different types of meetups, how to make your meetup successful. It's got how to promote your meetup on Facebook, Twitter, which I didn't tell Andy about, Twitter, ASAP, Facebook, Asexuality, meetup.com. It's got like the best practices, the script sheet that I use to get people to come from miles away to my meetups. I mean, I've had someone come from Newcastle before, and I'm in Exeter. They traveled 12 hours one way on a bus to come to my meetup and 12 hours back again. Do you know what I mean? It takes a very certain type of person to be able to get people to come to your meetups from miles away in a small city like mine, you know. Obviously, some of the bigger cities, it's not so difficult to get someone to come because they're central and everyone kind of thinks that's a central place to go to. Do you see what I mean? So, for example, London meetups are going to be quite popular with a lot of people because it's the like capital of the UK, really, London, isn't it? And, you know, everyone's like got that central place to meet up. So people who do meetups in London should always have people to go to them. But what happens if they want to expand their reach? What happens if they want to get other people that live in London that are asexual that never knew about those meetups? How do they go about doing that? It's easy to get to people who've already signed up and want to come, but how do you get people who are new to asexuality, who are new to meetups, never been to a meetup before? How do you connect those people? Because it's only through human in-person connection that we can get the best types of friends and relationships with each other. You know, and to be able to create more people and enable more people to do their own meetups and to be confident and skilled in that is a very, very important thing to do, because that puts more asexuals in touch with other asexuals in person, so they don't feel so alone, so they don't keep saying to themselves the negative mindset of, I can't find anyone, there's no asexuals in my area, you know. But people do have to be willing to travel. You know, some people are, some people aren't, but there's some things you can do to persuade them in a nice way. Yeah, Sam comes about 180 miles to my meetups. Yes, they had an asexual meetup. Sam travelled 180 miles to come to my meetup. Another guy came his second time from London as well, which is miles away. And Sam's had to go to London, but before that had to get from his place, their place. Sorry, sorry, I didn't mean to say him. Sam's a them now, by the way, just in case you didn't know, Martin. Oh, I've got to be off now, Sandra. Thanks for live stream. See you in a bit. Okay. Take care, Martin. I know you do your own show, so good luck, and good luck with the writing as well. So yeah, Sam comes like 180 miles, so it's a long way. And they have to get a train, another train and a taxi there and back as well. So it's a long, long way to come. So it's really important that we have more asexual meetup organisers around the world, so that people can, you know, come together a lot more and feel like, be empowered, that, you know, that we're got the same sort of like mindset, and can stop feeling so alone, and they can be happier. You know, you can, you know, obviously I said that happiness comes from within, and it really, really does come from within, right? The hard part is understanding you've got to make yourself happy, and actually making yourself happy, and start loving yourself and liking yourself and caring about yourself and wanting to be and spend time with you, right? You have to do that. You cannot afford in your life to spend the rest of your life being miserable with yourself, because you will be miserable. You have to learn to love and like yourself. And if you can't do that, you need to get help to get you to do that. It's imperative you do that to your existence and your success and your happiness in life, right? If you're not happy with yourself, change yourself. Change your hair color, change your body shape, change your clothes, change your lifestyle, change your mind is the most important thing of all of those, obviously. But sometimes people, they don't like their hair, the way their hair is. It makes them feel bad about themselves. Go and get a new haircut. They don't like the clothes they wear. Get rid of your clothes, get some new clothes. Do you know what I mean? I've had people complain about things to do with themselves over, you know, oh, I don't like the way I look. Well, what is it you don't like the way you look? You know, what is it about your looks you don't like? Well, I don't like the way my hair is. Well, go to a hairdresser then. Have a new haircut. Well, I don't like the fact that, I don't know, it's usually something to do with their appearance. I'm like, well, go and change your appearance then. Go and get new clothes. You know, like sometimes they do, because clothes can make you feel more confident, you know? If you've got clothes that make you feel like rubbish, you're not going to be confident and be happy and enjoy wearing them. Go and get yourself some new clothes. Do you know what I'm saying? You know, people don't want to take the action. You have to take action to be happy. But you can choose to be happy. But that still requires you to put yourself in a mental state where you are happy, as in you've got to be happy with yourself, you know? And, you know, but it does, having said that, you know, obviously one of the things that does make you happy external wise is having really good friends, having people who support you, having a supportive environment. It's very important. So obviously happiness comes from within first of all, because if you're looking in the mirror every day thinking, oh, I hate what I see, don't like myself, you are not going to be happy no matter how many people you like you. No matter who thinks you're great, because if you don't like yourself, you'll constantly be saying negative, critical stuff to yourself over and over and over again. And then you are making it hard for yourself to be happy, right? So you have to stop making it hard for yourself to be happy and make it as easy as possible for you to be happy. Like, and when you wake up in the morning, you just have to choose to be happy that day. No matter what happens, I'm going to be happy this day. You know, of course, then something might happen later on and it might be really bad or difficult, but you can still turn the day around, right? Even if you're having a bad day, you can, like, say you had 6 hours of a bad day, you can, like, think, oh God, this is like the day from hell, or really bad day, right? Then you need to break that pattern, right? So go and do something different. If you're having a really tough time and it's not going well, go and do something different. Break off. Pattern interrupt, it's called. You break the pattern, right? So maybe you go and watch a movie, maybe you go for a walk, maybe you ring a friend, right? Maybe you just breathe in and breathe out. Maybe you just take a breath because you need to calm the mind. The more we breathe, the more we relax, the more we calm the mind, right? So there's different techniques you can do, obviously, to make yourself happy and to be a calmer, more relaxed state, right? And maybe a pattern interruption is going off and making yourself a cup of tea. Do you know what I mean? It might be such a simple thing like that. Or it might be just you need 10 minutes on the bed to just chill there and think of nothing and to just relax and think life is great. But one of the things that will make you happy is if you choose to be grateful and thankful for things. So when you get up in the morning, list things you're happy about, you're grateful for, like the roof over your head, the food in your belly, the friends and family that you know, the fact you have the ability to walk, the fact you have the ability to smell, the fact you have the ability to see with your eyes, the fact you have mobility in your legs, if you do have mobility in your legs, anything, that you have mobility and feeling and are able to do when other people can't. That's things to be grateful for. It's grateful that you've got clothes. It's good that you've got, that you've got hair on your head when some people go completely bald and they wish they had a head of hair. All these things are things to be grateful and thankful for. And when you live with an attitude of gratitude, your mindset changes into one of much more positivity, into a much more thinking good about the world, and you begin to see things in a different light. Like I said, those two people that happen to end up being the same person as me, I was both of those people. So I know that you can have a negative mindset and how it affects you, that you kind of waste a lot of time when you have a negative mindset. You waste a lot of time and energy. Being negative and pessimistic puts a very, very lot of energy zapping your way, right? If you're depressed, you'll find that you have a lack of energy automatically because being depressed and pessimistic actually zaps your energy. If you want to get more energy in your life, you need to have an abundance mindset, a happiness mindset, a gratitude mindset. Am I saying you're going to be perfect all the time and have that every single day, every bit of the day? No, because we are human beings, right? But we have to endeavor to try our best for ourselves in those situations. That's what I'm saying, and you just have to keep saying to yourself, everything happens for a reason, right? Everything happens for a reason. And you have to have some faith and trust that things will turn out okay, right? Does that mean to say if you haven't got anxiety that you won't get into a mass panic sometimes? No, it doesn't, because I sometimes still do. Sometimes I just freak out. I have these freak out moments like, oh my God, this is what's happening? Ah! And then I remind myself, Sandra, there's absolutely nothing to freak out about. At this point in your life, there's nothing going on. It's all in your mind. You're just freaking out in your mind about what could happen, what might happen, if that happens, blah, blah, blah. It's not happened yet. And this other positive lot of stuff will happen. Do you know what I mean? You've got to try to have a lot of belief in yourself and a lot of faith in yourself, even if things go wrong, even if people think you're crazy. It's better to be crazy than sane and miserable, right? It's better to be crazy and happy, right? And another reason why people are unhappy is because they let the people who abuse them and traumatize them still affect them, right? And yes, this is difficult. Yes, this is hard. And yes, I would recommend seeing a therapist to get rid of those deep-seated issues as much as possible. Like if you've got post-traumatic stress disorder and all that type of thing. And you may always have some kind of feeling of trauma to a certain extent, but you can lessen that, and you have to understand that by allowing these people in your past, the people who abused you or were nasty to you, by allowing them to continue to affect you in the present when that was years ago, and you don't even, especially if you don't even see these people anymore, right? They're not even in your life anymore. You are giving your power away to them. You are letting them still hurt you, still affect you, still torture your mind, still abuse your mind because they're torturing your mind, And am I saying it's easy? No. Am I saying it's gonna be overnight? No. But I reframed my past now. I'm so happy I did that. like, I accept my past now. I accept that I had loneliness. I accept that I had abuse. I accept that happened to me, and I believe it happened to me because I'm meant to help others who are going or have gone through that. And if that wasn't happening to me, then I wouldn't be in the position I'm in now. And that's like called a cognitive reframe. It's when you reframe your past to have a positive slant. So one of my worst scenarios is when I was a kid and I was alone talking to a bar on a wall. It was very, very depressing at the time and very bad for me. I had no friends, no one to talk to. And the dinner lady came up and said to me, "You okay?" And I was like, "Yes," but really I wasn't. I wanted her to ask again so I would feel special. And she didn't. She just took my word for it and walked off. And I was so upset. But I'm not really upset about that anymore. No, I mean, I kept playing it over and over in my mind for a very, very long time. Most of last year, actually. But like when this video I saw, which is very controversial and taboo, was on about reframing your bad past, that like you chose the past in your spiritual endeavors, you know, spiritually you chose to have parents that weren't very good, maybe, if your parents are like that. I'm not saying mine are, but you know, or you chose to have someone hurt you and stuff like that. That's a really bad thing to kind of say. But what this person was trying to say, this spiritual person, is that spiritually you might have chosen them in your spiritual life to teach you lessons in the physical body life and to enable you to help others by being in that position in yourself and able to feel that pain. Because a lot of the time we empathize and sympathize with people because we've been in those situations ourselves. And so without going through those situations, we aren't able to help other people. And that's how you kind of change your life around as well, realizing that your past traumas are actually someone else's answers to either their own trauma and suffering, or to prevent others from having the same trauma or suffering that you endured. And that if you hadn't gone through them, you wouldn't be here now to live and tell the story and to help other people, right? And you will notice that quite a lot of famous people, entrepreneurs, for example, and stuff like that, they had a lot of really bad childhoods, most of them, really bad pasts, you know? A lot of them didn't even get good grades in school. Some of them, not me, because I don't do drugs, but some of them were on hardcore drugs and then came off the drugs and changed their life around. You know, some were alcoholics. And so, you know, anyone can change and turn their life around, but you have to be willing and able to want to do that. It's no good if you're talking to someone constantly saying about to them being happy and how to be happy and how to have a positive mindset if they won't listen to you and they won't take any action. You know, if it falls on deaf ears over and over again, there's only so much you can do, sadly. You know, a person has to realize for themselves that they generate their own happiness, that they create their own happiness. And this is something they've never been told. You know, if you've had abuse or bad things happen in your past, but you're living in the present now, to keep going over that is, those people are still traumatizing you. Those people are still like abusing you. And it's not helping you in your life. You have to take action and take your power back and choose in the moment to not let them affect you anymore. To think, okay, it happened for a reason. I was meant to go through that because I'm going to help other people with those experiences. And that's the way it is. And I'm a strong enough person to be able to see that now and to deal with it and to recognize that that's why it could happen to me, because I did have the strength to get through it, even though it felt like hell at the time and I didn't know how I was going to survive, you know, because you know, the moments that don't break us are really the moments that make us, you know. And sorry, things are falling off. That's my work. So yeah, it's really important to reframe the past and to reframe the situations you're in. And you know, if you weren't strong enough to deal with them, then the world, planet, universe, God, or whatever wouldn't have shoved that your way. Do you know what I mean? That's the positive slant you can take on it. And yes, you can take the negative slant if you want, but I took the negative slant for years and it didn't get me anywhere but misery, heartache, pain, or a broken record over and over again. But this happened to me, but this happened to me, but this happened to me. I'm traumatized. I feel horrible. This happened to me. I can't shut it out of my mind. I can't get away from it. But now I've reframed the past, like the thing that happened in school. I've reframed it ever since like December last year. And my life this year, in my mind, does not keep playing that broken record. Like this is, like this is like nearly my whole life. I've been like that with that particular incident, And now it's like I can break free of that finally. But that was, how many years has it took me to learn that? That's why I'm telling you this on this channel, so you can be helped going forward and know more like of these secrets that you don't know. I've done a lot of personal professional development work, and that's how I know and learn all this stuff. And I find what works for me and what doesn't. But what doesn't work for anyone is when you don't love yourself, like yourself all your life. You have to change it for yourself. Like I learned that it didn't. Yes, I've been to loads of counselling. Yes, I've had therapy. Well, mostly counselling, to be honest. But I've had cognitive behavioural therapy, cognitive analytical therapy. I've had both of those. And I have to say that the most important change in my life was leaving that behind and saying, do you know something? I can look after myself better than these people can now. I can treat myself better. I can actually deal with myself better than they can. These people are actually making me worse sometimes. Sometimes they're just making me feel bad and worse about myself and my life. When I'm on my own, I'm feeling better than when I'm with them. And so, you can kind of like get to a stage where you don't really need them if you're self-sufficient at funding your own happiness, if you know what I mean. Because it doesn't matter how many therapists and counsellors talk to you unless you actually decide to act upon the advice. And only if it's good advice and not soul destroying do you want to even act on it. Do you know what I mean? Like I said a long time ago, I had this counsellor and she specialised apparently in anxiety, but it was clearly she had no experience of anxiety whatsoever, because she told she was saying stuff to me that made me more anxious, and I didn't have depression, and it started making me depressed again about myself. I felt so bad about myself because I came to her with the problem that I knew wasn't good about myself, but it was an issue. I mean, it's in the great scheme of life, it's not the end of life just because I was like that, but I just felt that it was a problem I had that was a bit irritating to me and no doubt someone else. So but instead of us saying, oh right, I'm so glad you've reflected on this and understand yourself, and maybe we can try this technique or that technique to help the situation, it said as well, you shouldn't be like that, you shouldn't be doing that. And I felt so bad about myself. I'm like, I've come to you to say I've got this problem. And instead of throwing it back in my face saying you shouldn't be like that, I wanted techniques to help me to not be like that. Not tell me I shouldn't be like that. That's no good, is it? It's not helpful, So that's why I'm hopefully telling you some things to help you, not just saying. I mean, obviously, choosing to be happy is the best thing, but I'm trying to give you techniques of how to choose to be happy, like reframing the past. Like when your day's not going too good, interrupt your pattern, change your thought pattern by interrupting your state, by doing something different. Start putting music on and dancing around your home, go for a walk, watch a movie, just do something different that gets you out of that that pattern that's going round and round in your head. And one of the secrets is, people, if you haven't got many friends, the way to get more friends is actually being happier in yourself. Because if you're happier in yourself, other people will see that and it'll attract them to you, right? You'll attract other people to you because like attracts like. And if you're happy, people are like, oh, she's happy. Like, what's she doing to make herself happy? I want to be friends with her. I want to know her. I want to talk to her because I need to be like that. Do you know what I mean? So when you are depressed and you think you've got no friends, the reason usually the real truth of why you haven't got any friends a lot of the time is because you live in a pessimistic mindset that says you've got no friends. That is a self-fulfilling prophecy because you look for evidence to support that in your mind that you haven't got any friends and that people don't like you. So your mind is designed to keep you safe and to protect you and against fear and stuff like that, and people hurting you, but can also do damage to you as well by being very negative when it needs to actually help you to see opportunities. So when you get into the state of being depressed, you know, your mind will specifically look for things to make you more depressed. It feeds off fear, it feeds off misery, it feeds off pessimism and cynicalism. Cynicalism, is that a word? It feeds off all this negative stuff. That's how you keep a negative mindset, by feeding it negatively. If you want a positive mindset, you have to constantly feed it with positive stuff. It's like, your medicine is positivity. That's what you have to do. You have to watch positive things, read positive things, have positive things in your life. Like your environment is a huge deal, right? Because if you're trying to make yourself happy, but constantly your environment, the people around you, the objects around you, the space around you is constantly miserable and depressing, then you are going to become like your surroundings. You're not going to, however much you resist it, you are going to become somewhat like it. You might not be completely converted, but imagine if your like wallpaper is like dark all the time, and your carpets are dark, and you're having like watching dark movies all the time, and you're having dark objects in your house and stuff. Your mind becomes very, very dark. Andy, that's very true. When you're depressed, your brain can look for even more things to make you depressed, so you stay that way until you break out of it. Yes, exactly. And so you have to literally make positivity your medicine. So instead of going to the doctors for another pill that will only patch over the problem, it won't cure the problem. The pills from the doctor are designed to suppress your emotions. That's what they're designed to do. The medication for depression is designed to suppress your emotions so they don't go out of control, so you don't feel out of control. So theoretically, you should stop being so depressed and crying, because you can't really cry that much because you're suppressing your emotions. But it only patches over the problems. It doesn't solve the root cause of the problems, right? So you can continue patching over your problems, but you have to face them. You have to face your demons. You have to face your fears head on. And sometimes you have to do it one by one, sometimes it's small baby steps. It's not all, if you do something all at once, you can overwhelm yourself. I tend to do some stuff all at once. Sometimes I do overwhelm myself, and when you've got anxiety, as well as depression, or, I mean, I don't have depression anymore, but when you do have anxiety, you have to kind of learn about your anxiety and how best to deal with yourself, because you have to face your fears head on. You have to say, I'm going to be anxious right now, and consciously be anxious. I'm going to be anxious. I'm going to be, I'm going to be anxious, but that's okay, because I can deal with it and I can live with it, and I can still get through this. Even if I have anxiety, I can still do this because I believe in myself 100%. So it doesn't matter if anxiety keeps popping up. I can get through this. I will be okay, because I am in charge of me, not my anxiety. My anxiety doesn't rule me. I rule me. I'm in control of me, not my anxiety. My anxiety might like to think it's in control of it. And I do like my anxiety sometimes. Sometimes your anxiety does protect you. If you're out, for example, and you've got people around you that are not so good, you need to have some awareness and some sense of feeling of uneasiness and anxiety to be able to spot people who are potentially no good for you. Like when I'm walking in the street, I'm able to do this. Although I'm concentrating on what I'm doing, I'm able to hear and see people who are maybe starting fights and things like that a lot of the time, and then quickly walk across the other side of the road to avoid that. I'm not going to go through it. I don't need to. Don't need the hassle in my life. And I know, I know people who try and start fights. Sometimes they can come right across to where you are. It can spread out, so you got to be very careful. I'm quite streetwise like that. I can tend to spot when, sometimes it can be play fighting, but you never know if it turns into more. And it's better to be safe than sorry. But if you're prepared for that type of thing happening, if you've got some guard about you, it's a good thing. So anxiety is designed to protect you. It's there for a reason. So you don't want to get rid of all your anxiety, because you don't want to become completely emotionless. Like that's another thing with pills. Why do you want to be completely emotionless? Why do you want it to numb all your emotions? Because it numbs all the positive ones as well as the negative ones, if you're not careful. Do you know what I mean? Some people I've met and they can't feel any emotions. It's very rare, but I have met them. They don't feel emotions about anything. Nothing. They just don't. And some of it's trauma. I think some of it's medication as well. but if you are positive and have a positive mindset, your mind will look for positivity. Your mind will look for good things in the world. So, for example, like one person posted in one of my asexual groups about the fact that, oh, excuse me, keep getting stuff in my eye. About the fact that, they, basically, they're keeping out of all Christmas madness because all they see is people arguing, like over car parking spaces. And I can't remember all the posts. They were arguing over car parking spaces, and there was lots of other things that they thought with the Christmas, 'tis the season to be jolly, and they saw the fact that the season isn't jolly because they saw all the negative stuff in it. And with me, I don't see that at all because I think positively now. You see, I first of all, in my city, many people do park and ride. And so, they park their vehicle or whatever and ride, go on a bus into the city, which helps with congestion problems and fighting for space and stuff like that. But there are car parks, but I don't drive, so I don't know about them. I don't get involved with them. It's not my life. Don't need to know. So, I don't see people fighting over car parking spaces. And if they do fight over car parking spaces, how I view it is, my goodness me, they're eager to get gifts for people to put a smile on someone's face, to make them feel wanted and needed by showing they care and getting a gift. Well, that's worth fighting for, I think. Maybe literally not physically, but, if people are, people really want to get it done because they really want to make sure they've got those presents for people. And so that is a positive mindset, it's seeing things in a positive light that, like, I always question, like, well, what's the reason for them fighting for car parking spaces? What's the end outcome they're trying to achieve? They're trying to achieve the fact they want to park the car to go Christmas shopping, to get gifts for people or meet their friends and have Christmas lunch or a drink. And so they're both really fighting over wanting to be happy with or make other people happy. Do you see what I'm saying? It's a completely different mindset. But one person is very depressed, and so they see a lot of negativity in that. And the other person, me, is happy, so I see positivity. Do you know what I mean? You see two completely different worlds. It's like if you don't enjoy Christmas, then you have to ask yourself, how would I enjoy Christmas? What would it take for me to enjoy Christmas? What would I have to do in my life? And then you go do it. So you just stop being unhappy because you go and do the things that make you happy. And if you feel you're not able to do that, well, that's your choice because you're choosing not to do that. Do you see what I'm saying? We choose to be happy or we choose not to be happy. We choose to go along with other people. We choose to lead our own life. Do you see what I'm saying? So it's very, very important. Oh, I keep getting stuff in my eye. I'm sure I got bits of glitter from yesterday's meetup in my eye, probably still. I wear glitter eyeshadow sometimes. So do you know what I mean? I mean, obviously life is not always as simple as that. And, I think some people do things so they don't hurt other people's feelings. But that's the thing, you see. You could not hurt other people's feelings or you can end up hurting your own feelings. Sometimes other people's feelings, like when Martin, for example, was in the stream earlier and he asked me, so about his writing, he's very excited about it. My heart goes out to him because he's a good friend. And, my feeling is, wow, I really appreciate the fact he want me to look at his writing, I feel honoured. And the fact he really excited, he wants me to know about it. But I don't have the time at the moment to invest in that because if I do, then I can't do my own work and my own stuff and serve my own people and help them. Do you know what I mean? I do get a lot of requests every now and again to like, oh, I've written this. Can you read it for me? And it's like, no, to be quite honest. And I don't want to be horrible, but I don't have the time to do that. If I'm doing that and reading someone else's work, I'm not working on my own book, which is going to help thousands of people. The Asexual Guide to Sex is going to help thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of people. I honestly believe that. Believe it'll be one of the best books ever written in my life and other people's lives. I just do. I 100% believe in it. Honestly, I can't wait for it to come to full fruition. But I've got a long way to go before then. A long way to go, like these things take time to get right in the right way, and it's going to be an incredible book. Never been so keen to read a book. Thank you, Andy. I'm so pleased you feel that way. It is going to be a brilliant book. I can't describe how happy and excited. Actually, like I'd rather be doing that than lots of other things, but I have to do the other things as well. But writing's my hugest passion, Ideally in the future I just want to, like a lot of entrepreneurs, they like want the laptop lifestyle so they can go all the way jet setting across the world, go on holidays to remote islands and stuff. Oh, I think I'll learn a lot from it, says Andy. Yes, you will definitely learn a lot from it. I know you will. I think lots of people, I think globally everyone will learn a lot from that book if they take the time to read the Asexual Guide to Sex book. I think it will be mind-blowing revelation about sex. I need the book for my SB shelf. Oh, Sam has a Sandra Bellamy shelf in their Kindle library. I love it. Sam's going to get the book, whether or not they'll like the book or not, because they're sex repulsed. It might be a bit difficult for them to read, but they might flick through a few bits. But yes, or they might like, oh my gosh. But yeah, they don't have to read it all if they don't want to. But it does help people, There's all types of asexuals in the book. Do you know what I mean? And it's a very, very big eye opener. Very, very big eye opener. Like, I just love the book so much, But like I was saying, like with entrepreneurs, they like live in the laptop lifestyle because they want to go jet skiing and they want to go to all these foreign remote islands and traveling. That's not me. I just want to be able to have enough money to have a beautiful house, have asexual friends over, and also and my life partner, which I haven't met yet. And I said my life partner as if he's going to live in the house with me. That's debatable. At the moment, I like living separately. If he lived in the house, he could be my lodger. But I might have some other lodgers by then, so then he'd have to just visit. Anyway, and but I just want to really, like, I love it here, so whether I get another place or not is not really relevant, but I want money so that I can literally write more and more books, especially for asexuals, because I absolutely love writing books for asexuals, and I just would love to write all day, every day, because when I write all day, every day is when I'm at my happiest ever. Honestly, it's like my soul is completely at one with itself. That's why I know writing is my life purpose, because my soul is completely happy. The only time I procrastinate is over the editing and rereading 55,000 times bit. That is difficult for me. But it's getting easier doing that because it's like for a good cause, if you know what I mean. But the actual, like putting the book together, I mean, even now though, I do a lot of editing and revising, but when I'm doing it with other people, other asexual interviewees, it's a lot more exciting and interesting because I'm doing it with them. Do you know what I mean? Andy, all libraries should have that shelf. Sandra Bellamy shelf. They should have that shelf, Andy. I think you should write to like the national library or something and tell them, Sam, I don't know about reading it, laugh out loud. I'll give it a go through curiosity. Yes, but I know you're still going to get it because you said you're going to get it for your shelf, whether you read it or not. But yeah, you might want to read some of it. We can all write in. Yes, all write in and ask for Sandra Bellamy's shelf. I'd love that. I know the British Library's got my book, my fibre book, and my oh, thank you, Sam. You'll definitely get it. Oh, that's really nice. Thank you. It is incredible book, it's incredible book, but I've got a long way to go yet because I've got the current asexual interviewees. Hopefully all their ones I'm currently working with, it's about 6 people. Their interview stories should be finished by the end of January, but then I've still got the rest of the people in the book as to whether they want to answer the second lot of 20 questions, which is more in-depth advice, guidance and help. So because the book was originally going to be called Asexual Sex Stories, The Good, the Bad and Fugly, and now it's changed to Asexual Guide to Sex, Asexual Sex Stories, Sex Advice, Sex Help and Sex Guidance. So it's kind of like changed a little bit. But even in the first set of questions with their personal story, they still give advice and guidance about, like how to prepare for sex if you want to try it. And, in terms of mindset, body, and emotions. Yeah. mind, body, and mind, in the mind, physically, like what mindset do you need to have? What do you physically need to do? And basically, how will it affect you emotionally? Those are like the three things it covers. All the people's stories cover them. So it's really helpful advice and guidance, And, if I hadn't been made redundant, which years ago, when I first was made redundant, discovered my life purpose of writing, remember that version of me back then was very pessimistic, I blamed myself back then for a job that I lost, which I couldn't be in because the host store was closing. Like, I worked as a manager for a concession in a big store. The store was closing. There was no way, hell, shape or form that I could do the job because the store obviously wasn't going to exist anymore. Well, it was still going to be there as a building, but the company that was there wasn't going to be in there anymore. It was going to be an empty space, and all people had to get out of it. All companies had to get out of it, so there was nothing there, and I blamed myself, and but if that I hadn't been made redundant, eventually saw the light that I was born 100% to write, and that was my life purpose, then the negative situation turned into positive. But if I hadn't had that negative experience, then or what I thought was negative in the beginning, I would never be where I am today, writing books and getting them actually published under my own imprint and getting them in libraries and stuff and getting them out in bookshops. You know what I mean? It just wouldn't have happened. And so, that's what I mean. Like, everything happens for a reason in your life. Everything happens for a reason, And, I'd highly recommend self-dating as well. I used to be very pessimistic, but I love me now and I enjoy my life and have a small circle of great friends. Oh, I'm so glad, Sam. I'm so glad to hear that. Yeah, you've changed a lot. You're very positive now and you're a lot more confident. You're a very confident person. It's hard for me to remember the you when I first met you, but I remember you weren't as confident as you are now. I remember now you do love yourself a lot, because I remember you go, oh, I love me. You've even said it in front of me. It is awesome for Sam to be like that. Yeah. I know Sam really loves themselves because they said it in front of me. I love me. It's really nice to hear that. Like, aren't I handsome? I love it. I love it. That's what Sam says to themselves in front of me. It's really cool. I tell myself every day that you're handsome. It's good to tell yourself you're handsome every day. This is really, really good. This is really good because the more you tell yourself you're handsome, the more you become handsome. I mean, I have said on this channel, obviously, you're just my friend, but I have said that aesthetically you're good looking for a person. I'd be very careful for them. And before, when you were a guy, you were a good looking guy. Yeah, so it obviously works, you say. But yeah, I'm not romantically attracted to Sam. I'm lucky in that respect. It's very good. But yeah, it does work. Like, I am like Sam in the sense that I tell myself, I don't know if I tell myself every day though. I don't know, but I think I do. I look in the mirror a lot and go, mwah. I was going like this to myself today, mwah, love you. Stuff like, oh, mwah. Oh, that's so funny. But you end up like, the more you say this stuff to yourself, the more you say positive stuff to yourself, the more you big yourself up and become your own best fan, which I'd highly recommend, the more you actually learn to love yourself, because you're just completely rewiring your brain, right? You're completely rewiring your brain. You're a bit too female for me too, laugh out loud, but the best friend anyone could ask for. Yeah, I know, I'm far too female for you, Sam. You'd think I was not very good looking in terms of female stuff. It'd be like, eek. Yeah. But yes. Oh, thank you. But the best friend anyone could ask for. I know, because when I see you talk about females and you're like, you're too female, I see your face screw up when you look at me. I'm like, yes, okay. To everyone else, I'm attractive, but to Sam, I'm not like good in terms of looks, because they're like, that's kind of gross because I'm not attracted to women, or especially not one that looks too female with long blonde hair. But I like long blonde hair because when I was a kid, I was made to have my hair really short, and I hated my hair short. And I think my long hair makes me look younger as well. Like, if I compare myself in photographs where I have shorter hair compared to longer hair, I look far younger now than I did when I had shorter hair. Because I don't want to look like a guy. Like, I have guy traits and I'm happy to have guy traits, and I don't do the girly stuff like let's paint my nails and oh, I got a nail cracked and let's put makeup on every single night and let's plaster my face and in like this powder to make my face look orange, and let's get a suntan and let's wear frilly sexy knickers and let's have these girly nights in, and oh my goodness me, all that type of female kind of girly type of stuff I don't really do. So in terms of like female male type of traits in that way, I'm more like a guy. I can't be doing with all that stuff. Do you know what I mean? It's like I've never got on with that stuff. It's not who I am. I'm a tell it like it is person, very blunt, very outspoken, and kind of like action taker. Do you know what I mean? Which is where the male traits come in, you know? And I actually feel quite empowered in my masculine traits, you know? When I'm taking action, when I'm doing stuff, when I'm doing business stuff, I'm like in a power mode. I'm feeling really good about myself, you know? Really, really good. The girl side of me comes in when you do have all the female orientated guys after you. I know. I know I have all the female orientated guys after me. That's what I said. I think it's because I got masculine traits. Do you know what I mean? But I actually need a guy that has some masculine traits as well. Not just me. But I do agree, Sam. That's what I was saying yesterday when Ralph at the meetup was asking me, like, why do you think? I'm like, well, I've noticed they've all got female traits, the guys who I get attracted to or who I attract. And you know, because I prefer guys that've got some female traits, but they got so many female traits that I think they've got more female traits than male traits, some of them. And that's no good if you want a guy to pursue you, because they just don't do the pursuing and they don't even think about it. Do you know what I mean? And so it's not very good from that point of view. And I do have some female, well, I have like guy traits and girl traits rather than mum traits, if you know what I mean. I have like so in the sense of father, mother, child, which everyone has within them, which I learned in counselling. Like you can be your own father to yourself, your own mother to yourself, your own child, you know, inner child to yourself. But in terms of like father, mother, child, I have like the father figure in myself because I have like the male traits. Then the mum doesn't come out that often, but probably you could argue when I'm looking after people, it's probably, I don't really see it so much as motherly, as more like a good organizer and leader. But in terms of feminine traits, the nurturer, I do have a nurturing side to me, which I don't think is so much motherly, but it is more motherly, I guess. I just don't like that word motherly very much. I don't really relate to it, but you know, it is more like you know, like I do have a nurturing side. Like if anyone's hurt themselves, I'm like the first person you should go, even if it's a little cut, I'm like, oh, let's get some cream or let's get some cold water on it, or are you all right? And I'm like that. I've always been like that. But I do fuss around people a bit like that because their health and safety is the most important thing to me. Do you know what I mean? And I care and I want to make sure that they're not ill or that, you know, especially if they're cut. I don't like seeing people cut in any way, you know what I mean? And I worry about them. So and with children, although I don't want kids, I can look after kids. You know, kids feel safe around me. In my old job, I even had a kid in front of its parents just come up and start holding my hand when I was trying to talk to people about fitted bedrooms. Like I was trying to talk to them about what they would be best working in their room, and all of a sudden they were shocked. They're looking at their son. Their little son came up and put his hand in mine, started holding my hand. You was very concerned when I had my accident and did great to make sure I was okay. Oh, thank you. Oh, that's really nice. Thank you so much. Yeah. Thank you so much, Sam. Yeah. I'm glad. You know, that's nice. Yeah. So I do have, you know, like this kid, their parents were shocked. They were like, why is he holding her hand when he doesn't even know her and it's in work? But so I can have a very powerful, profound effect on kids. I've noticed that even when I was a lot younger in birth certificate age myself, I had these kids, just like one kid randomly come up to me and hold my hand when they were watching the carnival. They didn't even realise I wasn't their mother, I don't think. I think they eventually twigged that I wasn't a relative of theirs. They didn't even know me. They're like, oh, like, who are you? But it's like when kids got lost in supermarkets, even though I was younger and birth certificate age myself, I'd always try and help them find their parents. So I think kids instinctively know that I'm a kind, caring person. They're safe with me. You obviously have a very caring aura. Thank you, Sam. Yeah, because kids can sense usually when someone's bad for them. Like there's someone who's I can't say who, but there's someone who's not very good, right? I know they're quite abusive person, right? And they shout at their partner and stuff, right? I can't say any more than that. But there was once a kid that came, and I gotta be really careful what I say. And that came and they noticed this person was not good because I heard them say it, that they wanted to get away from them, basically. Something like that it was, because the person's like, oh, why are you trying to get away from me? I thought, because a kid can sense that you're no good. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, that's very, very interesting. Kids can tell, they're not stupid. So yeah, so I would always, like, obviously I would always protect kids. Kids are very perceptive. Yeah, they are. I would always be a protector. I wouldn't hurt kids. Do you know what I mean? Like, even though I say I don't want them on my own, I'm always strict about that. I see them as little beings in their own right, and I, like, care about them as beings in their right. I'm not really a baby person, but even babies, in my whole job, even babies, they stick out their finger they put their little finger in my hand like that. So they're even really comfortable with me. Do you know what I mean? Because I would never hurt them. I am actually very caring. I probably got a very nurturing, motherly side to me. Just I don't like the word motherly because I don't want to be a mother. Do you know what I mean? But I would always protect them. I would always keep them safe. I would always make sure they're okay. I wouldn't let harm come to them. Do you know what I mean? I'm not that type of person. So and I actually understand them very, very well. Because I'm kind of like a kid myself, which is probably why I understand them really well. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, it's really interesting, isn't it? Conversation, actually. Yeah. So, but yeah, I do attract and get attracted to guys with female traits, but it's like the girly side comes out in me when I'm like a Disney girl. I suppose when I do have a dress on, but I didn't even used to wear dresses years ago, or skirts. I wear skirts in summer now, but I never used to wear skirts in summer. I was always in trousers. But I do wear skirts because I look good in a skirt. Like, yeah, if you look good, why not wear it? If you feel good, wear it. Do you know what I mean? But I tend to wear like kind of like not really flowery stuff. I'm not that into. I got one black top that does have roses on it. I bought myself in the sale, and I do actually like that, but not, and it has got flowers on it, which surprised me. But the way it's done, I like it. But majority of time, I don't like very much flowery stuff. I'm not really a flowery girl. But but I like, like what I call a princess dress, where it's all like fitted and flares out, made of satin material, all that type of thing. Being in Disneyland Paris, like I'm like a girl in a relationship. I kind of like to be the younger one, but maybe that's where I'm going wrong. Because maybe I'll give my power away. I don't know. Do you know what I mean? But I think if I have a responsible young guy who liked to be the older one, it'd be fine. Do you know what I mean? So I've got to get a guy who would treat me right. But obviously, if I'm with an older guy, then I purposely don't act as young because I want to protect myself to a certain extent, and talk more on their level. Do you know what I mean? It's like I'm going out dancing tomorrow, right? Tonight now, because it's Tuesday. So tonight's my dance night later on. So I will be doing a live stream earlier, much earlier, like probably 9 o'clock or something, because I've got to go out. And I can't be out, going out too late. So I'll probably be doing my live stream at 9 o'clock or something like that, Could be earlier, but probably around 9, I'm guessing. But have a great time dancing. Thank you. So when I'm out, like I'm around young guys tomorrow night. So I will be my young self, which I love. But obviously, if I've got an older guy in front of me, I keep my wits about me. There are some older guys and they target me sometimes. I think it's because I look a little bit older. And I'm like, I'm not interested. Hope there's nice Indian guys there. Thank you. But there was this there was this older guy last time, and he was wanting to dance with these really young girls. They were about 19, and he was like, he looked like he was in his 50s or something. He was foreign, so he obviously likes really younger girls. So, but yeah, sometimes the older guys, if they're older, they tend to target me a little bit more. And I'm thinking, I'm not interested in older guys. I'm just really not interested. Do you know what I mean? I don't want to be around an older guy. I'm not interested in dancing with older guys. Do you know what I mean? I don't want their bodies near me. I just don't. It's like gross to me. You know what I mean? Respect to all the older guys out there, but it's not my thing. Do you know what I mean? It just creeps me out. I don't mind having older guy friends, but I don't want, now and again. I don't particularly have older guy friends very often. I got Ray, who's the oldest guy friend I've got, I think. But I don't like getting closer to older guys with my body because it's like I'm not really that anything like that age. Do you know what I mean? It's just weird for me. And I'm just into younger guys. That's what, as an asexual cougar, which I've said before, I can't help it. It's who I am. It's how I'm made. I'm into younger guys. If I was a sexual, which I'm not sexual, then I would be known as a cougar in a sexual realm. But I'm not sexual. I'm asexual, But obviously, if I was my own equivalent in the other heterosexual world, then I would, I would be into being with younger guys, but I don't want sex with younger guys. If I was to have sex again, though, which I don't want, but if I was, I'd much prefer to have it with a younger guy than an older guy, just to make that absolutely clear, because I don't get attracted to older guys. I don't want to see an old guy's penis, to be quite frank with you. If I was going to see a penis, not that I really want to anymore, but if I was going to, it'd be a younger guy's one, not an older guy's one. The whole thing is revolting to me. But if I was going to, a younger one looks better aesthetically. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm just talking logically here, not I want to go and do that, but if I was, I'd decide to pick the more aesthetically attractive thing, which would look younger than the older thing that doesn't attract me, because I'm not attracted to older stuff. Do you know what I mean? It's just the way it is for me. So, and if I was sexual, I'd have a lot of guys interested in me. There was even an asexual guy on ASAP, so he's got a lot of sexual friends that'd be interested in me. If I liked sex, I'm like, yes, but I don't like sex. He was the one that said I'm too energetic for him. But if I liked sex, he's got some friends that'd be interested in me. I'm like, no, I don't like sex. But yeah, so yeah, I do attract guys with feminine traits because I do have a lot of guy traits. It's a difficult to get a balance, I think, because I do like a guy who's very emotional. I like a guy who's in touch with his feminine side, but I don't like him to be so in touch with his feminine side that he thinks all women are beautiful, amazing people that couldn't do anything wrong. Because I've had a lot of women that have not been good to me and that are not trustworthy. I don't trust many women. Just like I usually don't trust many guys, I don't trust many women either. There are some women that are trustworthy, but I don't trust a lot of them because I know what they're like. I know the women that go round with married men having sex with them. And these are people that I would consider kind-hearted, nice people doing this. And that isn't a good thing to do, in my opinion. And I know the crafty ways women work, and they turn on their emotions to get men hooked on them or to get men to do certain things. That's how a lot of women manipulate men, by the emotions they do or by the games they play with them. Do you know what I mean? So you've got to be very, very careful. Like, I like a guy to be emotionally sensitive and caring in general to women, but I don't want a guy who's like can't see the fact that a woman's trying to just get in his pants or trying to like get, like even if she doesn't want sex with him, trying to like say certain things or do certain things because she wants to emotionally connect with him. If you're in a relationship, particularly with a guy, and then you've got this other woman that's constantly messaging him and she's emotionally trying to manipulate him into thinking she's amazing and kind of like taking him away from you, if you know what I mean. I've had situations like that in the past. Obviously, a true friend or partner can't be manipulated or taken away from you anyway, because they're true to who you are, and that's why it's best to get a trustworthy partner or friend. Do you know what I mean? That it doesn't matter what the other person does, you're still going to always be friends or have that partner. But I have scenarios in the past where women have been so manipulative, and they specifically try and do emotional stuff that it all get the guy to come running after them every 5 minutes. Like, oh, I'm like a they put the damsel in distress thing on. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying that I can't do that. There are certain times when I have never done it with someone who's in a relationship or something like that, because I don't think that's right, or with friends. But it's like, if you are, for example, like, well, I don't really do it as such, but like, I know in how psychology works, right? So say that you are, how can I put it? I don't really do it because it's a manipulative technique a lot of the time, but there are ways you could do it more innocently, which would be like, which is what they teach you a lot in dating stuff anyway. Like you like a guy who's got guy traits, who's very masculine, would be attracted more to a woman who's got feminine traits. So if a woman's struggling with something, he would like to naturally to come to her aid and help her. That's how masculine and feminine is supposed to work. So feminine's like, oh, like, when you've seen these like stereotypical blonde bimbos years ago and they get all the guys, it's because they're meant to be like so dipsy and dizzy or whatever that they can't do stuff for themselves. The guy needs to come and help them out and protect them and do things for them because they're in their masculine doing role. Do you see what I'm saying? So in order to like have, like get on well in dating, a woman is supposed to lean back and let the guy do it. And I mean, I've seen one dating coach, and there's like he said something he didn't like about his wife. Like, his wife knew how to do something and she wanted to tell him what to do, right? Like, I could do this thing now because I know how to do it. But instead of her doing it, he didn't want her to do it because he felt like inadequate, basically, and he didn't like it, and he wanted to do it himself. So the fact that he wanted to do it himself took far longer than had she known how to do it, because she knew how to do it. But he didn't want that. He wanted to figure it out himself because he said that's what guys are like. I mean, to me, that is absolutely ludicrous. It's just like faffing around, wasting life. Do you know what I mean? So she had to. So basically, he was saying, "Oh, she has to let me get on with the thing, even if it was something that might take me 5 hours. That took her 1 hour to solve, because like I'm the masculine guy and I need to be able to be the doer and be able to be the problem solver and all this lot." Do you know what I mean? And that's the type of thing that kind of puts me off masculine and feminine. It's like, well, if a woman knows more than a guy in a certain situation, who cares? Just solve the problem as quick as possible and don't waste your damn life. Do you know what I mean? Because that's just kind of wasting life, in my opinion. Absolutely wasting life. There was a thing recently where my friend, they were with their guy and they were decorating, and he had a problem, was getting very, very frustrated, and she made a suggestion to him, and he didn't take her up on the suggestion, and he spent, I think it was another further 5 hours trying to do the thing that wouldn't work. It was to put some wallpaper up that wouldn't line correctly or something. That was it. Wallpaper wouldn't line correctly. And my friend said, why don't you get another roll of wallpaper? Because it might be that there's just a fault with the wallpaper, the way the pattern is, right? And so he didn't listen to her. I think it was for 5 hours. It was quite a few hours, whatever it was. And then in the end, he worked out that my friend was right, because he tried a new set of wallpaper and it worked straight away. And she was right all along. But he did admit that he was wrong. He admitted that she was right, So he was good about that. He didn't put it down to him and take all the credit for it. He said that she actually was the one who solved the problem. So he wasn't a macho guy like that, or so masculine he didn't own up to that. So that was nice. But do you know what I mean? That's what I think. That's why I don't like the masculine feminine role set. Is like, if you know something, why waste your life or time with the other person struggling if you know something, and do it? But I know people do like to do things for themselves, though. I do get it, but it's just kind of like, I don't think a woman personally should hold back if she knows something. I think she just say it. But what you're supposed to do in those scenarios is say, "Can I make a suggestion?" rather than say to the person, "This is how you do it." You're supposed to say, "Can I make a suggestion?" and they're far more likely to do it then. So that's the best way of a female approaching a male, apparently, in traditional gender roles. The female, and even the guy should say that in good communication between couples. The guy should say to the woman, "Can I make a suggestion?" The woman should say to the guy, "Can I make a suggestion?" when they've got something to say, rather than saying, "I know how to do this," which is rather like, well, only I can do it and you're no good at what you're doing. So that's the best way of communicating in a relationship, because I know the guy did that as well with something with her. So yeah, so it is a good technique to use. But there are certain instances like a woman could I guess kind of use a damsel in distress, you know, to get she's the damsel in distress to get people to do things for her. But I mean, like, you know, like say I'm carrying luggage, heavy luggage. I actually am carrying really heavy luggage, but a lot of the time I do pull heavy luggage myself because I have to, because I'm on my own, right? But I do get a lot of guys in London, for example, and all of a sudden they see me struggling and they're like, oh, would you like some help? I'm like, yes, please. I don't say no. I want to do it myself, which some women would. They'd be like, no, I'm fine, you know, but I'm not that type of such a macho girl that I can't let a guy carry my case for me. Like, I like guys opening doors for me. So I've kind of got the traditional, more feminine side to me like that I like guys opening doors for me. I like a guy in a relationship to brush my hair and things like that, which is kind of a bit weird. But, you know, like if he wants to brush my hair, it's like, fine, take care of me, brush my hair. I don't mind. It's not doing anything horrible to me. Feels nice. Carry on. Do you know what I mean? So I don't mind guys, you know, carrying my bag for me, doing that type of thing. I have no problem with that type of thing. Do you know what I mean? And, you know, if a guy wants to help me, like that's a bit like damsel in distress, but it's like I'm not putting it on. I really am struggling. But there's certain things you can do. Like if you ask someone in a in a telling way to do something, or as a female, you can use your female charm and say like, oh, do it with a smile. A guy's much more likely usually to say yes to something if you smile at them than if you don't. If you say it aggressively, if you're female, it's best to say, oh, please, can I do this? Or would you let me do that? You know, they're much more likely to say yes. But I just don't like the women that manipulate people in relationships or friendships. Do you know what I mean? And I need a guy who's going to be kind and caring towards women and other people, but realize that some of these people are not actually that good and nice as they first seem. Because what I've had a problem with in my life, well, it's not really a problem, it's just very awkward sometimes. It's like I can see what a person's really like because they show me different sides to them that no one else sees usually. And then it's like people don't realize what they're like, and then it could appear that I'm talking out of my butt. I don't, do you know what I mean? That I'm making up, but I'm really not. So yeah, but I think, you know, like I know a lot of asexuals, like 10% of the asexual community is supposed to be non-binary and 10% is trans, according to the latest figures. I think it wasn't Avon, like Sam said. I think that came from Avon. Sam said that in a previous video. So it's really interesting, isn't it? And the only problem with the only problem with non-gender roles in relationships is like you have to kind of decide who's going to go first with things. So in traditional relationships, you know, the guy's supposed to be one that leads, it instigates messages, that very much is the sort of person who does all the leading, the instigating, the pursuing. Obviously, if you've got two people who are both both either two males, like it's kind of like who does the leading, or two females, who does the leading, or do you know what I mean, non-binary, who does the leading, that type of thing. So I guess with traditional gender roles, everyone kind of knew the place they were meant to be doing things from, whereas I guess in non-traditional gender roles it can become harder, and I think that's why the dating scene has become a bit harder as well sometimes, because some guys, they don't even know what they're doing anymore in dating. They don't know where to approach a woman, pursue a woman or not, because some women don't like it. They will be more like a guy and say, I don't want you to pursue me, or I don't want you to carry my bags for me, or I don't want you to open doors for me. I can do that all myself. Do you know what I mean? Whereas I'm not like that. I am a bit more traditional feminine in that way. Like, I like a guy making an effort. I like a guy pursuing me. I like a guy opening doors for me. I like a guy holding my bags for me. I like a guy taking care of me, even though I can take care of myself. Do you know what I mean? But I don't like cooking, cleaning, and housework and all that type of thing. So I think, you know, in life as well, going back to this video about why is it so hard to be happy, I think you have to create your own happiness in life, and you also have to work out who is honest and true in this life, and avoid or get rid of the people in your life that are dishonest. Many of them message for a bit and then just go quiet. Yeah, exactly. It's real, you know, it's a real nightmare, I think, Do you know what I mean? I think it's very difficult with asexual dating. I do think it's hard, but I do think, it takes two people to be very dedicated to want a relationship to make it work. It's hard with the online dating world the way it is. Like, it's good because more people can meet, but even without, why did Andy retract that message that said, I hope there's some nice Indian guides for you? I'm sure that's what it said. I'm sure. I hope there's some nice Indian guys for me as well. Um, but yeah, so I think it's really important that like with the asexual dating, or with dating in general, not just with asexuals, a lot of it's swipe culture these days. Swipe, 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 and it's like you can speak to anyone in a matter of seconds. And I think that kind of like takes a bit of the magic and sparkle out of pursuing and getting someone, because it's like many people are readily available, but the fact is they're not actually readily available for a real long-lasting loving relationship. They're just readily available to chat to. A lot of them, it's like a lot of them, like even in sexual dating groups I've seen, and when I was on Plenty of Fish, a lot of them are like the serious ones, like, I don't want a pen pal, I'm not here to be a pen pal. And that's what some people are, not even just in the asexual community, but in the sexual community, sexual dating. A lot of them, like, that was the feedback I saw on some of these sexual guys' profiles. And it's like, please, do not like message me, or if you're wanting a pen pal, because I don't want that. I want a serious relationship. I don't want to be a pen pal. And I think that is the danger, that some people online, they just want people to chat to all the time for whatever reason, and then they don't actually be serious about a relationship, and therefore it makes it very difficult for the few people that are serious, because they don't know which profiles they come across as serious as them. And so I think that makes life very difficult. And going back to this video of like about being happy, why is it so hard to be happy? I think it's very difficult when the landscape's changed in life and when the world's changed, but you've got to just remember to keep loving yourself, and and to keep a positive mindset. Remember, with dating, you only have to find one person if you're monogamous, but even if you're polyamorous, you still need to start with the one person, don't you? So you only need to find one person, even though that's hard to find the right person. There are thousands upon thousands of people out there, so we shouldn't give up hope. I should have said, I hope they are young Indian guys who know how to treat you properly. Oh, thank you, Andy. Now I know why you've tracked the message. Thank you. It would be nice. It would be nice. I think the young Indian guys that go there probably would treat me right, are the ones that are not actually that interested in me, and they're with their friends. Daily positive affirmations. Yeah. It's really important to have daily positive affirmations to keep your mindset good. Like, you can do this, you can do this, you can do this. Like, it's a very positive affirmation. You will have noticed, like, Sam's been in my home and Andy's visited my home now. You will notice that I literally live and breathe what I talk. I've got affirmations in my toilet. Like, I have post-it notes with affirmations next to my mirror in my toilet. I have, hi Heather, lovely to see you. I have affirmations in my mirror in the hallway. I have affirmations in front of me. I literally live and breathe what I say. Do you know what I mean? I don't come on this channel and tell you a load of rubbish. I tell you the truth about techniques that work all the time, So in order to be happy, you do need to have affirmations. Affirmations are statements you use in the present tense as if they already happened, and you have to brainwash your mind with positivity. And so, you've been taught that the word brainwash is a really, really bad thing, and brainwash is really bad, full stop. Well, the weird and strange thing, if you really want to know, is you're always brainwashed since you were born. And if one person is not brainwashing you, or companies brainwashing you, then another person is. So basically, we live in a world of brainwashing, right? With adverts, with products we buy, with people we come across, with companies we come across. Everyone is brainwashing us, right? So we have to choose which type of brainwashing we want to have in our life. Do we want to control our own brainwashing and brainwash our own brain, or do we want to have those people doing it for us? They should get your fibre book for some great advice. Thank you, Heather. Sam. Heather said hi, everyone. Hi, Heather. Sorry. Sam said they should get your fibre book for some great advice. They should get my fibre book. If you haven't yet bought my fibromyalgia self-help handbook, I mean, this is my copy that's not for resale, but, you know, that won't have that across it. But, you know, this is like the fibromyalgia handbook. You know, it's a really, really good book, which does help with depression, anxiety. I actually have a copy that hasn't got that over there, but I'm keeping that so I don't damage it because I need it for promotion. But this is a book that doesn't have that over it. So this is how it looks, right, when you get it. And you should definitely buy this. If you've got depression or anxiety, you should get this book, even if you don't have fibromyalgia, seriously. And the reason why is because the techniques I teach in this book, I teach a lot of techniques that is used for overcoming depression and decreasing your anxiety, because people who have fibromyalgia tend to be depressed or have anxiety, and they don't know if depression and anxiety is a symptom of fibromyalgia or if that's what causes fibromyalgia, right? Because fibromyalgia is caused by trauma, and obviously if you're depressed, you're constantly in a state of trauma, so it's debatable as to which way it goes, right? But you know, because it's like mental trauma, isn't it? So, you know, like Sam says, you should get my book. Sam has got the book, and so is Andy. And it does really help. You know, you don't have to have fibromyalgia to have this book, because there's a load of stuff on mindset and positive affirmations and techniques to use to lower your anxiety that I've used myself. They are very effective techniques in the book. Thank you, Andy. You know, they do really work, because I've do these year after year, but you have to take action. Like, if throughout this video you've been sat there being passive, nothing's going to change your life unless you act upon what I say. Honestly, nothing's going to happen. Nothing's going to change. Everything in life requires action. It requires action on your part. It requires you to do the work. Like, becoming undepressed is work. You have to work to stop yourself being depressed, and you have to work to keep yourself in a positive mindset. Like, I don't have depression anymore, but I have to top up with happiness consistently. That is the antidote to depression, is to keep topped up on happiness. You have to do it all the time, consistently. And this shows you how to do that. You know, these techniques and formula in this book can be literally transferred to any type of situation where you experience anxiety and depression, with or without fibro. And this book also helps you have more energy and less pain in your life, even if you haven't got fibro, because it helps you to have less emotional pain, less mental pain, less physical pain, you know? So it really, really helps you. Seriously, that's why I wrote the book, to help people, you know? I know it's got fibromyalgia on there because I have fibromyalgia, but I'm not normal fibromyalgia. And the reason I'm not normal with it is because I live this extraordinary, very, very self-disciplined life, using very specific formulas and techniques that I've learnt since 2012 in personal professional development and self-growth, about how to overcome depression and how to decrease your anxiety. You know, they're techniques I consistently use. I'm even getting more techniques all the time, usually, as I go along, and building on the ones I've already got. But they're all in this book, you know, because this book only just came out in, the print version came out in October this year. So it's a very, very new book. And it's in simple to read chapters again, just like my Asexual Perspectives book is, you know. It's very easily written, you know, so it's easy to read. I purposely kept it easy to read, you know, and so it's really good. I would highly recommend you get it. I know I wrote it, but I'm saying it because I know it can change your life. Now, I'm not just saying it because it's my book. I mean, unlike some people who are writers that just go and get someone else to be their ghostwriter and stick their name on it, or, you know, go to like certain sites and just like download something and copy it. I don't do that. This is my own personal story. This is what I've taken years to discover. I discovered I had fibromyalgia in 2012. And everything I've learned since 2012 is in this book, because that's when I started my personal and professional development growth and self-growth work. So everything, my fibro and my personal and professional development work came in the same year. My fibro diagnosis and that, I had fibro probably before that because they took a while to diagnose it. But that was the same year, right? That was diagnosed with fibro and like started all this personal and professional development stuff. And it literally changed my life. If I hadn't come across personal and professional development, I would still not be in a very good state. I wouldn't self-love. And if I didn't self-love, even though I stopped being depressed because of my fibro, it wouldn't have been a very healthy life for me. I would have lacked energy, because if you don't love yourself, you lack a lot of energy, you lack the motivation to get up in the morning. If you don't love yourself, you lack the will to go on, and I realized, like, if I carried on being depressed in my life, that with my fibromyalgia, it would literally have put me in a wheelchair on crutches, because the pain you feel in your mind manifests itself in your body through your emotions, and it results in physical pain. The mind and body correlation is one. If you are having pain in your mind, particularly persistently and consistently, your body will suffer for it. You'll start to get aching joints. You'll start to have headaches. You'll start to have sleep problems. You'll start to have feelings of darkness and badness and all that type of thing. I'm not saying I never get any of these things, because you can also get some of this stuff with anxiety as well, But if you can decrease your anxiety, you can live a better quality of life. If you can up your energy, you can live a better quality of life. If you can cure yourself depression using this book, because you're not going to be able to just do it if you don't know how to do it. It teaches you how to do that. Then, your life will be better from then on. You can free yourself of all this negativity and know that you can get better and stay better. But you have to keep topped up on happiness. I have to keep topped up on happiness. If I don't keep myself topped up on happiness, guess what will happen? I won't be happy anymore. And the result of that will, can go backwards in depression, don't want that. So you have to consistently maintain yourself. Like with anxiety, I have to coach myself still all the time. Like when I'm going out dancing tomorrow, all the way out, I'll be coaching myself. I'll be saying, right, you can do this, you can do this. Because I do still have anxiety when I go out to club, right? Because I'm walking, and I'm all right when I get there. And when I start dancing, I'm fine, But, I still have some anxiety, and it's like, I have to coach myself. Like, you're going out now, you're putting your shoes on. I'm constantly telling myself what to do. You're putting your shoes on now, right? Get your dress on, right? You want sparkly stuff on your eyes, get sparkly stuff on your eyes. Right, get your money ready, get your phone ready, get your hair comb ready, take water with you, snacks, because I have to take water and snacks wherever I go because I get low blood sugar. I love primary colours and bright colours. Yes, Heather, that's very good. I spoke about colours earlier, so I'm glad you brought that back up again, because it's very important, like I said, in your environment. Like you'll notice in my environment here, how many bright colours do I have? I have reds, I have oranges, I have yellows, I have this beautiful Disneyland Paris throw. This reminds me of being being like a princess in Disneyland Paris all the time. It's actually I have washing powder, certain washing powder, because I get allergic else. But this, I buy a special softener especially for this, and it's beautifully soft. Like you stroke it and you feel like you're stroking, like, I don't know, a beautiful cat or something. But this, when you buy stuff like this, right, it makes me happy because it embraces, I love your elephant. Oh, thank you, Heather. It's very sweet of you to say. This has got chipmunks. And when I was in Disneyland Paris, it made me so very happy because I was at one with my soul. I'm a lights, camera, action girl. And that's how it felt. So when I have this on, it makes me, feel so good. And you'll notice that nearly all the colours in my bedroom, the majority are bright. Because if you're around dark colours, it's going to help make you depressed. It's not going to make you happy. Dark colours, like, okay, you can wear some dark colours in your clothes, but, sometimes it's nice to have brighter colours in your clothes as well. I do like black as a clothes colour, if I'm honest, a lot of the time. But, in my home environment, I have a lot of bright colours. If you find in your home environment you're having a lot of dark colours like greens and blacks and greys and browns, and you're hardly ever having colour in there, that's like darkness. That's like reflecting your soul of darkness, you know? It's like change your environment, change your life. Do you know what I mean? Environment is so important, you know, and the fact that Heather loves primary colours and bright colours, it's good. You know, it's good because if you like bright colours, it reflects your personality a lot. Like I'm bright and bubbly, Disney girl. So pretty much all these colours reflect my personality. Do you know what I mean? Like, I know a lot of asexuals like watching horror, but you have to know the effect that horror has on your brain. Do you know what I mean? If you're a person that watches a lot of horror and you're depressed all the time, well, you know what I mean? Horror's not going to make you happy, is it? Not unless you really find it hilariously funny all the time, which I know some people say they find it really funny. But, you know, watching horror movies and stuff like that all the time is going to be bad for the brain because you're putting negative stuff in there all the time. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's you just gotta like kind of like watch what you're thinking, doing, and everything like that. Do you know what I mean? And you know, like ask yourself, is your home environment serving you? Is it making you happy? Do you know what I mean? Like traditionally, older people have got brown carpets. It's like, why? Why not have like a bright coloured carpet and cheer yourself up a bit, you know? But mindset is everything, you know, like there is the other thing that nothing has meaning other than the meaning we give it. So, like I said, two people could look at the same scenario, like I mentioned at the beginning of this video about the two people that were redundant, which ended up being myself. And that those two people were like two different people because that was me and my past version of me when I was more pessimistic and negative. And then there's a positive version of me. You see what I mean? But no, I was taught nothing has meaning other than the meaning you give it. So you can have the same scenario happen to two completely different people and they would both react differently to it. Do you know what I mean? And so, like, if I watch the news, which I don't do purposely, if I watch the news, you could think about death, dying, destruction. And the more you watch it, you could wake up every day thinking, God, I don't want to wake up to this life. People are killing each other. People are murdering each other. People are raping each other. You know, there's so much violence, hatred in the world. I don't want to live in this world. And I used to kind of be that type of person. I used to think that nothing's good in this world. I hate this life. I don't want to be in it. Wouldn't want to bring children up in it. And it's a load of rubbish. That's what I used to think like. But then I used to watch the news. I used to watch soap after soap. I used to be a soap addict. And what happens in soaps? They purposely create drama to tap into your emotions, to make you feel stuff for the characters. And a lot of the time it's negative emotions because for some reason human beings seem to like negative emotions, be attracted to them more than positive emotions a lot of the time. You know, like if you watch movies and stuff, the ones that really move you are the ones that have sad storylines, the ones that pull at your heartstrings. If you have a film that's really happy all the time, one, it probably wouldn't be made because there'd be no friction, and two, you know, like people don't get affected by it much. They don't make it in the first place. So sadly, the human nature is that we're more geared towards negative emotions, but we have to realize this about ourselves, become consciously aware of ourselves, and change our life around and think, right, well, I'm going to take control of my life now. I don't want to be involved in these negative emotions. That's why I don't watch the news, right? If I don't watch the news, don't watch any of that stuff on TV, right? Don't turn the TV on, right? I wake up in the morning, right? And if I keep my positive mindset all the time, wake up in the morning, I think this is a great life, right? I'm here in my beautiful home. I'm with my beautiful cuddly toys, with my nice throw. I got at the moment I've got sparkly stuff in my home. You know, I'm pretty much self-sufficient. I'm looking after myself. No one's bothering me. I'm not bothering anyone else. Life's beautiful. I'm getting up. You know, I'm doing the work I enjoy. And you know, some people are busy working a 9 to 5 job, and I'm sat here enjoying life. You know, being my own boss and being my own person, and I'm just like, you know, enjoying life, and I'm taking life in. You know, when I was working before I was made redundant in 2017, the last time, it's like I was being bullied in that job. You know, I'd much rather be at home and be happy, and you know, like just like you know, like I'm not saying my life's perfect financially; it could be in a better situation, but you know, sometimes you know things that happen in your life for a reason. You know, sometimes it's like so you can become better at financially managing your finances. Do you know what I mean? And I think everything happens in your life for a reason. You know, if something like you know when you're redundant from your job, it makes you like you know you have to believe in yourself more if you're taking a positive slant on it. You have to be more self-sufficient. You have to be more resourceful. You have to be able to better manage your finances. You have to be good at organizing your own time. And so you actually gain a lot of life skills. Do you know what I mean? And this is all the positive stuff. So as the another person will look at it completely bad, like I said before. And it's like, the people that watch the news and everything like that, and they see all that murder, death, rape. It's like, isn't it bad? Isn't it terrible? But the media wants you to see the bad side because you would want to switch it off if all it was good. It's like if everyone's going around happy, wee wee, like people would be thinking, well, there's nothing to watch, nothing's happening, there's no drama, nothing to pull at my heartstrings. It's boring. Sadly, that's what they think, a lot of them, and so they just switch it off. Because things that get people going emotionally are things that are threatening their life, things that make them fearful. So the news is designed to keep you fearful. So you keep watching it and watching it and watching it and think the world's so bad. But if you start putting in your mind that the world's really good, that there are kind people in the world, and you look for these type of people, purposely look for wealthy people, purposely look for kind people, purposely look for happy people. So in order to maintain and have a good mindset, you need to look for positive things. Like, if one depressed person is talking to another depressed person, which happens quite a lot, yes, they'll be attracted to each other, but they'll keep each other in a perpetual state of depression. That's what they'll do. So when people are depressed, they're going into these groups on Facebook for depression, they're actually keeping themselves in a very, very highly depressed state. And the more they do that, the more they're keeping themselves depressed. So if you're depressed, that's the last thing you should really be doing. Yes, you might feel like you need a bit of support by someone who understands you, but they're not going to change your life, and they're not going to help you change your mind and your mindset to change your life yourself. You should, if you have got depression, you might want to be in some groups where they have depression so that you can feel supported. But the rest of the time, you want to be looking to people the opposite of that, looking to people that are having wonderful lives, positive lives, like wealthy in mind lives, healthy lives, smiling, happy, energetic, vibrant, all the positive stuff. Because if not, all you're going to see is the depressive side. If you keep talking to depressive people, you'll just see the depression. You'll just see all the negative, the bad stuff in life. If you keep putting that in your mind, you'll keep getting like that. I've had situations in the past where I've been friends with someone, and they had anxiety and depression, which I hadn't got depression anymore at that time. But their anxiety, they had panic attacks, which I do sympathise with because I've had them before myself in the past, but I hadn't had them for a while, and I started getting them back again because I was talking to this person who had really bad anxiety, and that was a bad situation for me to be in because it was like me going backwards. So the best thing to do is, I wasn't friends with that person anymore, even though it might be a bit weird saying that, and the circumstances were different to how we actually departed as friends. It wasn't because I actually left them because of their anxiety. It was for other reasons, but actually it was a blessing in disguise because I don't need to be in that type of life anymore, And so really you have to kind of change your situations in life, and sometimes it's very difficult. You have to have conversations with people you might not want to, like my best female friend. I had to tell her this year that I needed to be in a younger environment. I wanted to spend really good quality time with her on her own rather than her with other people, being in an older environment that was not feeling good for my soul. And that was a very difficult conversation to have. And at first she was offended, but now she's really understanding and caring about it, and matching my wishes now, which is really, really good. But it was a hard conversation to have because I thought I'd lose her, and I could have lost her at one point, and I nearly did. But at the end of the day, it's all come good. I just had to have faith that either what will be will be. Either she'll stay my friend or she won't. I was hoping she would, but that's the thing. You've got to get to that stage in life sometimes where you not going to be afraid of saying to your friends something, and if you lose them, you lose them. A good quality friend's not going to just ditch you or lose you because you said something to them that they might feel a bit uncomfortable with. Because I didn't say it in a horrible way. I said it in the most I thought I said it in the most nicest way as possible, but I knew whichever way I phrased it wasn't going to be great because it's not something they'd ever heard from me before. So partly it was my fault because I'd never said anything to them before, but I just didn't think the right time before. But I had to say something because my soul was dying. Now I'm going out dancing on my own to a young place. I'm feeling so much better about my life. So that's a change I had to make for me. And sometimes that's what you have to do to make yourself happy in life. You know, sometimes it's hard to be happy because you are keeping yourself in situations that go against your own soul and being, and that don't truly make you happy to please other people. And if you're a people pleaser, you'll never truly be happy because you'll always be trying to scramble round, catering to everyone else's wishes, not being really the true, authentic you that you were born to be. And you'll always be worried about what other people think of you and living on a knife edge all the time and scared to say anything to people in case they go away from you. But you're not living your truth then, and you're not living your own life. You're just living like a scared mouse, which isn't healthy for you. You might think it's great for you, but these people that don't accept you for who you are, they're not going to be there when you die, to be quite frank with you. So the people that really love and care about you for who you actually are, who are going to be the ones that are going to be there at the end. The other ones are like the superficial people that come into your life. And you want to people please the superficial people that come into your life? Why? Do you know what I mean? These people are not going to really care. You're just like a commodity to them, or just happen to be there at the time. Do you know what I mean? So it's really important that you be your true, authentic self and live the life you lead. And that might mean getting rid of some friends or older, friends from your past who are no longer really good for you. Might mean changing your home environment, redecorating, putting some better colours on your walls. Obviously having the positive affirmations up, like you can do this. Positive affirmations always start with the words I am, like I am happy. Even if you're not happy, you look in the mirror and tell yourself I'm happy, and you start smiling and you pretend, if you like. You do have to really fake it till you make it in the beginning, in my experience. You have to, it's not totally faking it, but you're trying to, if you think of the word fake and you don't like that, then instead of thinking fake it till you make it, think like you're actually wheedling the happiness out of yourself that's actually embedded within you that you don't know about. So you're uncovering it and you're pulling it out by the roots so that you're consciously aware of it. Do you know what I mean? Because there is a happiness thing within you, but you haven't activated it yet. So you have to activate it by repeating the words I am happy, and you have to picture yourself what would in a happy state and what would make you happy. It's a lot of visualization. So but if you start smiling to yourself, it becomes a bit like you might feel really weird at doing it first, but you owe it to yourself to make yourself, because you want yourself to be happy. You'll do things for other people. Why don't you do it for yourself? Why are you trying to make everyone else happy but not you? Do you know what I mean? That is ludicrous. It's one of the most ludicrous things loads of us do. I used to do that. I used to put other people before myself, want to make everyone else happy, yet I wasn't happy about me. I wasn't. I didn't even like myself. Do you know what I mean? And so that is absolutely ludicrous. Like, why wasn't I back then being my own best friend? Do you know what I mean? Why was I helping everyone else and hadn't valued my own worth high enough to look after me and make myself happy and like myself, That's where self-worth and self-value comes into it, I mean, I used to feel like, in life, you've got to put everyone else first. You've got to make everyone else happy. That's how things should be, because you won't be selfish then. But the thing is, you're not being selfish by putting yourself first and making yourself happy. This is where a lot of society twists things, or they don't actually tell you the truth, because only when you truly love yourself and can be happy with yourself and care about yourself can you do that really, truly from your heart with other people. Because you might think, all right, making all these people happy is great, but if you're still sat at home thinking, I hate my life, I hate myself, I'm miserable, maybe even want to die, then, these people aren't really experiencing the real you, and you're not living for yourself. You've got to be with yourself 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. That is what I worked out years ago. When I was diagnosed with fibro, I could keep going on like I was going and hate myself and hate my life. And where would that land me? Where would that seriously land me? In a lot of mental pain, physical pain, emotional pain. And, I don't recommend anyone killing themselves and dying, I really don't. I recommend you doing the hardest thing possible sometimes, giving yourself the biggest challenge, which is not looking after other people, not helping others, but helping yourself. I challenge you to help yourself, to start loving yourself. I challenge you to make yourself love yourself. I challenge you to that. That's my challenge to you today. If you do not love yourself, and for the rest of your life, if you do not love yourself, I challenge you to start loving you. I challenge you to make yourself love yourself and stop looking for outside influencers to make you happy, because you are giving your power away. If you are if you're hoping and wanting everyone else who's an outsider in your life to make yourself happy, you're giving your power away to those people. And they could at any single moment in your life just decide, I don't want to see you again. I don't want to be with you again. I don't want to speak to you again. I don't want to know you again. And then that leaves you with no happiness because they held your happiness. Do you know what I mean? If they're holding their happiness in your hands, they can just whip it away like that at a moment's notice. Gone. And then you're like, what do I do? I'm so upset because I haven't got my happiness anymore. That person threw it away. But no, you gave it away to them. You gave it away and say, here, you can have my life. It's not, it shouldn't be like that. Don't give other people your life. You should be the one who has your life. You should be the one who holds your own life in your hands and who takes responsibility for everything. You take responsibility for your own misery. Take responsibility for your own happiness. If you are constantly saying, oh, this person made me unhappy, that person made me unhappy, this situation made me unhappy, I'm not denying that other people can make you unhappy, right? Which is why you have to lessen your time with them or cut off from them completely. Because if we're around these people, they do affect us, right? So this is what you have to do for yourself. Either cut off from them completely, but if it's close people that you can't really cut off from very easily, or you don't want to because you do love them, then you have to limit your time more with them and spend more time loving yourself and working on yourself and spending time with yourself so that you're not in such a negative environment, and so that you can get away and have some actual inner happiness. Do you know what I mean? Because if you're constantly around people who's drumming it into you, you're no good, you're not worthy, you're not this, that, and the other, blah, 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 how do you think that's going to make you feel? It's not going to make you feel good. So part of self-loving is saying, no, I'm not having this. I need to go. I need to retract. I need to go into my snail shell, and I need to look after me in my little home, in my shell here. Do you know what I mean? And I need to come out into a better place and go along another path. And it doesn't matter what age you are, birth certificate age or whatever age you are, you can always have the power to turn your life around. It's never too late. Whatever age you are, you can completely change your life. I'm happier now than I ever was when I was younger in birth certificate age. I am much happier. I'm much younger now as well. Well, I'm much happier. Do you know what I mean? So it doesn't matter. It's never too late. And what I would say is start now, because I don't want for anyone to be sat at home for the next 10, 15, 20 years making themselves miserable or holding their misery within themselves. Do you know what I mean? There is no good reason why you wouldn't love yourself. There's nothing. Obviously, if you're going around hurting people, you need to stop doing that. But other than that, intentionally hurting people, I'm talking really hurting people. As I'm much happier now. Oh, that's good. Sounds much happier. It's good, it's really good. But I would say though, if you've got past people that really affected your life traumatically, so obviously you need to try and get some therapy or help. But the best thing to do is literally to help yourself. It didn't matter how much counselling I had in my life. I ultimately came to the conclusion that unless I help myself, nothing's going to change. Because if a person just talks round and round in circles, the same thing over and over again, nothing happens. Just the same thing goes round in circles like this. So it's only when you break out that cycle, take ownership for your own life and say, no, this is my problem, so I'm going to own it now. I'm going to sort it out for myself and be your own best coach, that you can truly make big breakthroughs. And remember, if you are holding on to past trauma that's still affecting your life, you're giving power to those people that bullied you, that abused you. You're still helping them to do that in your current life. So just be mindful of the present and think that's the past now, and that you have the ability to change your life going forward. And you can do that through, don't forget, get my Vibro book, because it will help you. Because if you don't know techniques, it's not your fault. You haven't been taught. They are in this book, honestly. You will love it. It's good. Go and get it. The link's down below. And With Sandra's help and guidance, I'm learning to love myself too. Oh, that's good. I had to cut lots of people out and start looking forward and made a couple of great friends. Yay! Yay! It's totally true. It's totally true. It's very important, you know. Sam and Andy are testimonials for leading a better quality of life and being happier in life. It's really, really important, you know. And you have to love your imperfections as well. You know, you have to do, because I'm not perfect, you know. And sometimes we are our own worst critics. I am one of my own worst critics, I have to admit. And we have to try and stop that. We have to try and stop being critical of ourselves. Thanks. That's you and Andy, by the way. Oh, thank you, Sam. I thought we're great friends as me and Andy. Thank you. But it's nice of you to say it. But yeah, so it's really important that, you know, you focus on yourself and your own life. Especially, it's a good video to do now because I want you to go into 2020 in a powerful mindset, you know, very, very powerful state, you know. You have to realize that you can choose to be happy in your life or you can choose to be unhappy. Happiness is a choice, and happiness is what you generate from within yourself, not some external factor. Obviously, some external things can help, but you know, if I still have things to work on, but growing all the time. You know, you're doing really well, Sam. Everyone has things to work on. I don't want you to think from this video that everyone's perfect and people stop working on things. I'm constantly working, growing. Like, in order to make yourself happy, you really have to carry on growing yourself and learning and developing and improving yourself. Because if you stop growing, you kind of feel like you're dying inside. Do you know what I mean? So you should always be looking to grow yourself and develop yourself and improve yourself. I will be doing that to the day I die. Probably still be doing it when I'm dead and looking down, going, "What can I do in heaven up here? I want to improve myself." I'll probably come back down to earth actually, maybe, and do some more whatever I need to do. But life is about growth. Exactly, life is about growth, right? And because years ago I had a negative mindset and I had anxiety, which I've still got, but it's not as bad because I've worked hard to make sure it's not as bad by breaking through my barriers and facing my fears a lot of the time. Um, you know, I didn't realize years ago that life is about growth. And so when I was in a very anxious state consistently, I would live so much in fear that I would not make any changes in my life. Not at all. I wouldn't change anything if I could help it. I'd want to remain this person that was like this, with nothing changing. I just want to remain like this, almost like you're frozen in time. But the problem with that is change happens to you in those scenarios. Change happens to you and it comes along and it completely destabilizes you and makes you feel ill and unhappy, and it unnerves you, and it can lead to complete meltdown, right? So the best thing is doing the opposite of that and making yourself change, forcing yourself to make changes in your life for your own sake. Because when you get used to change and changing and making things happen, you then don't worry and fear so much about changes happening to you, because change usually always happens for you because you're creating the change, you're making it happen, you're shifting things in your life. And so even if some external thing comes along, you're not decentered because you're like, I still love myself. I can change my own life. I can adapt. I can grow. But when you're like in this scared mindset all the time going, I can't move. I can't change my life. I hate change. I was like that for years. Every new year I was like that all the time. I hated a new year coming. I felt so weird. I couldn't cope with it. I couldn't deal with it. Now I look forward to a new year. I'm like, yeah, what other things can I do next year that I haven't done before? What new business ventures can I do? What new things can I have in my life? What current things can I finish next year? What book, Asexual Guide to Sex book, will be out next year? Woo! You know, and so, you know, I'm going to have another book out next year. It's super exciting, and lots of other stuff going on as well. And I've learned some stuff about this year as well. See, I think every end of year, as it's coming to nearer the end of the year, you have to do some self-reflecting as well. So self-reflecting is also good for self-growth. Like Sam said, it's important to grow yourself. But if you don't reflect on your life and where you're at, then you, in a like positive way as possible, you don't reflect and think, oh, this was all bad. But you need to reflect, think what did go well and what didn't go so well, and why was it that it didn't go so well? Was it something that you did or said, or something else that happened, or external things? And what more can you do to improve that? Or did you make a choice that wasn't great and you decided, no, I'm not going to do that anymore? Because life is about choices and you can choose a different path at any time. Just because you choose one path doesn't mean to say that you can't choose another path. Nothing's set in stone unless you want it to be. It's very, very important. And it's important to actually have a growth mindset, because if you don't grow, you're dying. People that don't grow are dying. Plants that don't grow die, don't they? Flowers that don't grow, they die. People who don't grow in their jobs, and feel like they're growing in their job, they just get very bored, depressed with their job because they don't do anything different. They feel like everything's the same. They're not learning anything. They're not developing themselves. And so it's a boring, monotonous job. So life is about growth, and it's about putting yourself out there in situations that may be difficult or strange or unusual. But you've got to believe in your ability to work things out. And this is a very positive affirmation. You should write this one down. I believe in my ability to work things out. Never be afraid to take a different path. It's your life to lead. This is true, Sam. It's totally true. It's 100% spot on. But you should always believe in your ability to work things out. When someone taught me that, believe in your own ability to work things out, and I just repeat it for myself, I'm good, Like, I know some people might think I'm crazy for some of the stuff I come up with, but I know I'll succeed at whatever I want to do because I'm so determined. Like, it was really interesting this year, actually, because I did have a reflection about myself. It was later on this year, and I'm like, you were a really determined person, right? And although you're determined, your determination wasn't conscious anymore. And you weren't, I don't think you've been giving me the determined attitude, Sandra, that you used to give yourself. And it's like a really eye-opening thing, And then I remembered what I used to be like and how determined I was. And although I thought I was determined, I kind of lost sight of what my determination felt like consciously and how that looked. And I've got that back again now. I think it was around September, I started getting like that. I started feeling like that or something. Because I started realising, I'm like, you've lost some of your determined attitude, I think. I don't know what went on with you, Sandra, but you kind of lost a bit. I mean, I think you are determined to succeed whatever you do, but I don't think you're bringing that attitude consciously to your life anymore. I kind of feel that you're kind of like being in the background of your own life a bit more, and what's gone on with that. So, I think it's very important in your life. In order to grow, you need to reflect, because you were never reflecting and looking at the things that did happen that went well and not so good. You can't really improve. Do you know what I mean? And sometimes you might look and think, oh, that's not so good. But, I didn't beat myself up about it. I just tried to remember how determined I was before and what mindset that had and how that affected me and what the difference was, and to get it back again. But it suddenly dawned on me, I was like, how long have I been in this state of not determined as much as I should be? Like, not consciously aware of this determination. How long have I been in a state? It's like I was in a dream world or something for God knows how long. I'm like, what's gone on with you, Sandra? But then, you don't want to be too self-critical or hard on yourself, because things just happen in life sometimes. Life sometimes just happens, and then you sometimes go along with it and you forget your own center, and you have to get grounded again in who you are, and you have to start reflecting more and think, hang on a minute, where's my life going? Am I happy this direction? I'm not. I mean, this year I've got rid of domains. Do you know how much of a big leap that is for me in my life? You would not believe. Like, I've hung on to some domains for absolutely years, nearly all of them for at least the last 4, nearly 5 years, some 7. I've just hung on to them. I don't know what's hanging on to them for, because I thought that I thought that I would be able to make businesses out of all my domains, but in actuality, I've got new businesses now next year that I know where I'm going. Like, I know what I'm doing now. I know where I'm headed, and I know exactly what I'm doing. There might be some, I'm not sure completely of every domain I want to get rid of. I want to get rid of probably a few more that I don't really need, but I'm not 100% sure of every domain I need to get rid of, and that's okay. I think we can learn from everything we do. Reflection is a valuable thing. Thank you, Sam. It is true. Reflection is a very valuable thing, and sometimes we need to actually go offline, switch our phones off, switch whatever we're doing off, and just sit there and be with our own thoughts. Do you know, sometimes in the morning when I wake up, or afternoon it usually is because I work through the night sometimes, sometimes that's when my best ideas come to me, when I'm not actually trying to do work, when I'm not trying to push myself to do something. Sometimes our brain just needs a rest, and then that can be when the best ideas crop up, when it's not under pressure, when it's not feeling strained, when it's not pushing itself, and we just sit there and we're just like, all of a sudden ideas come to us. Like, that's what happens with me sometimes. I'm like, oh, it feels so creative and wonderful. And of course I start writing then, and then that makes me feel great because I'm writing, because I love writing. That's my love of my life and life purpose. So it all works out really well. So, like, sometimes in the morning or whenever you wake up, be grateful, wish the day well, think how wonderful everything is, life is, and everything like that. And really tap into your intuition. Like, this is something I haven't mentioned in this video, right? And we've been going a little while on here now for 2 hours and 19 minutes. But I haven't spoke about intuition, right? And I think I should, before I go, speak about intuition, right? So, one of the ways in which you learn to love yourself and learn to be happy is you have an inner intuition, right? Which most people who don't live a conscious life don't realize, or they don't pay attention to, right? But the more you're in touch with your own soul and being, the more you're doing what you love and what's right for you, the more you will notice this intuition creep up, right? And intuition is one of the most wonderful things ever, because despite what anyone says and whatever seems apparent, in reality doesn't matter. It's your intuition that's usually always right. Like, the problem with intuition is it's very closely related to fear. And so some of the stuff you feel may be fear. But if I don't trust my intuition, right, if I don't listen to it, my life doesn't go well. Every single time. So I listen to it more and more lately. And every time I go away from it, that's when I have problems in my life. Every time I go towards it, I have great things happen in my life. Every time I go towards it. But for a lot of years, because of things happening in my past, right, and trying to believe in myself more, I've kind of had a battle with my intuition, believing my intuition was right, because one, I haven't made good choices with guys, I'll admit that. So that kind of destables your own intuition a bit. And two, is that I was made to feel when I was younger that any decision I made was the wrong decision. And so that destabilizes you, and you feel like you can't trust yourself, which is one of the most worst things in the world. Because you have to be able to trust yourself as an adult, especially when you live on your own. You have to be able to trust yourself. If you can't trust yourself, who the heck else can you trust? Right? And so you have to believe in your ability to work things out, to keep yourself safe, and to do the best by yourself. Heather, always go with your gut. And yeah, it is true, right? Whenever I go with my intuition, it's always right. Always right. And when I go against my being, sometimes I can't do it anymore. Sometimes I cannot actually go against my own being. Even if I push against it, it just like makes me feel so sick. It's like, what the hell are you doing? Like, maybe things aren't apparent now, but intuitively they're going to happen. You know what's going to happen to you. Like, I know good things are going to happen to me. I know my future's going to be good, right? I know it. I just know it. And I know that I was born for a special purpose. I've always known it. Like, I do believe in God, right? A lot of people may or may not believe in God, right? I do believe in God, and I'm spiritual as well. So I believe in like a greater power in the universe. I believe in reincarnation. So I kind of believe in both. Which some people like, are you spiritual or religious? And some people don't think they go together, but I have both. Okay, I have my own version of my religion with God and my relationship with him. He's a him to me, right? So I have a very, very straightforward religion. I talk to God whenever I want to and feel like, just like, I just do it, right? And that's basically my religion. I don't believe in the Holy Spirit, and Jesus sits there and observes or listens, yeah? But I talk to God. I don't go through Jesus to get to God, which is the traditional way of people talking about it, right? So the reason I believe in God is because I've had a lot of experiences in my life where I could have died, and I believed I got saved by God, right? but I also had an experience where I had an accident and got knocked over by a moped 3 days before my 12th birthday, and I was completely knocked out and blacked out, unconscious. And that's when I started to think, well, I can see why people don't believe life after death, because I just blacked out. I had no light at the end of the tunnel in case I might have died. I had no recollection of a specific time in my life. It was completely blacked out. So technically speaking, if that was the end of my life, then I would know nothing about it. I would just be dead. There would be no afterlife, right? So I've had that experience as well, which is a very powerful experience 3 days before my 12th birthday, right? So I've had both of these experiences. I've had the belief in God, but I also believe in the universe and the powers of be. I believe they're linked together. You see, I don't really separate them, but I do speak about them kind of differently and separately as well. I don't believe in God, as you know, but I believe in reincarnation. Yeah. I also believe my grandparents are there for me, even though they are gone from the world. Yeah. It's good, Sam. Yeah. I mean, I'm constantly talking to God, to be quite honest with you, like, especially a lot more lately, because I'm thanking him a lot, because well, he just works for me. So what can I say? Right. And intuition goes together with him. So anyway, so for example, like, tonight, well, last night now, because it's like 1:25 in the morning on Tuesday, but Monday night, right? Like, it's intuition. I have intuition, and I thank God that my intuition was right, or that things happened in my favor, right? So I do both, right? And it just works well for me. I just love it. So if it works, why not? Right? And what we need to do in life is get rid of what doesn't work for us personally, and keep what does work for us personally, right? So I went yesterday now, I went to the supermarket, right? And I went to the supermarket and I had a voucher to spend, Nectar voucher, which is rewards for Sainsbury's in the UK, £2.50. And I want to get some cereal. Right? And I go to sometimes the bargain section. I found some fruit that I could have, which was reduced. So that was really good. And I also found some sweet corn that was reduced. So that was good as well. I was over my £2.50, right? And so then I went to the till, and I wanted to keep some money for a cucumber, to go to Aldi for a cucumber. There's a reason why I'm telling you was. And anyway, I had this X amount of money on me, but I wanted to not pay by card, right, for 1p, because I wanted to keep X amount for this cucumber, and I hadn't got any other change, right? I hadn't got a 1p to make up this money, and the odd was 8p, and I only gave them 7, right, to the machine. And I'm like thinking to myself, because this is why you got to pay attention to the little details in life that work in your favor. It's very important to say thank you and be grateful for every little thing that comes true and happens, right, that's in your favor, right? So then I thought to myself, I need a 1p. I don't want to spend a penny on the card. It's just ridiculous. And then I suppose I could have used the other bit of money that I was going to get for a cucumber, but I thought, I just want a 1p. So I literally looked up and I searched around thinking there must be a 1p. Have I got 1p in my pocket? And then I saw a 5p on the till next to me. No one was there, and just by the till was a 5p piece, the till next to me. So I quickly picked that up. The woman just looked at me. It was a staff. I picked it up, put it in the machine, and got 4p back. So I thought it was 4p in profit. Then a voucher, before I even paid, though, I didn't tell you, before I even paid, a voucher came out, right? Randomly, before I'd finished paying, right? So usually a voucher comes out after you've paid, right? But before I put my money in, right, when it's just done the total, it shot out a voucher, and it was for toothpaste that I actually needed, that I forgot about. And it was like an extra 160 points for this toothpaste that I forgot I even needed, because I literally nearly ran out. And I was thinking, I'm going to have to get that soon. So I was thinking, this is great. I've got a 160 point voucher for a toothpaste that I actually need. The specific toothpaste that I need. There's only like a couple of, I think there's 3 different versions of it, but I have to have Colgate, a special Pro Relief sensitive whitening. It's a whitening one, right, that I need to get. And then I thought, what if it's even better? And I go around the corner, it's reduced. So not only do I get 160 points, which I think is equivalent to £1.60, something like that, I think. what is it? Oh no, you have to get 500 points to get £2.50 voucher. So for every 2 points, yeah, so it's 2 points a pound then, isn't it? So yeah, so it's not £1.60. I think it's more like 50, 60, 70, 80p or something. I'm not very good at maths. But anyway, I was glad to get the points, and I was glad to get the voucher, because if I hadn't got the voucher, I'd have to have gone all the way back again soon to get another lot of toothpaste, because I forgot. Anyway, so I was thinking, what if, even better, it's reduced? Like, it's on offer. So I went to the aisle, got it, and it's reduced for like £3 something. I think it's £3.50 to £2.50. I'm like, this is great. So I went and got the toothpaste, right? As I was going to get the toothpaste, right, for the £2.50, I was up this aisle, and there was a 1p on the floor. So not only did I get the 5p, which I put in and got 4p out, I got the 1p that I was looking for. And so I picked up the 1p and put it in my pocket. I'm like, yes, I'm 5p better off now. Thank you, Lord, for the 5p. You know, that means money's coming my way. More money's coming my way. The universe can't help but shove money my way, which is a good sign, because it means when you're attracting money, you're going to attract more money. Like, money's bursting to get into me, into my pocket. Not into me personally, but into my pockets and get into my life. Do you know what I'm saying? So you got to pay attention to your intuition, these little things, right? What you think, you become. Literally, I can think of things and manifest them, which is bad if it's bad things, you know what I mean? That's why the mind is so important. Like, if you think bad stuff, you can manifest the bad stuff into your life as well as the good stuff. But it's like the other day, right? I literally, I don't know if I told you this, I might have told you this on a previous live stream, I can't remember. It's the fact that I wanted rice noodles, right? I love rice noodles. And I didn't want to pay full price for them. This was another time I went to Sainsbury's, right? I didn't want to pay full price for them. I thought, I don't want to pay £1.25 for rice noodles. If they were reduced, I'd buy them, and I would love them to be reduced because I want some rice noodles. But I'm not going to pay, and if they're full price, I'm not going to have it, right? So in the reduced section, there was this one bag, only one bag of rice noodles, and they hadn't been reduced, but they were in the reduced section. So I get this member of staff, and I said to them, okay, no, I got this bag of noodles, rice noodles, and I said, these rice noodles were in the reduced section, but I'm not sure if someone dumped them there and it's an accident that they're there, or if they are going to be reduced. And he goes, oh, just a minute, I'll go and find out for you. And instead of them being £1.25 full price, he reduced them to 27p. That's a saving of 98p, which is basically 98p profit, right? For me, because I'm keeping it in my pocket. 98p. That's good. So I say, thank you, God. Thanks for working. Give him a little wink and say, thank you, thank you, thank you. So it's very important. Even if you don't believe in God, you must say it to the universe, you know, to attract more stuff. Like, thank you, universe. Thank you, world. Thank you, planet. Everything's good. Wonderful. Awesome. And then focus on these positive little moments, because the more you focus on these positive little moments in your life, the more stuff will come to fruition. Like Ray, who's sometimes on this channel, Ray wins lots of competition. Now, Ray should be actually focusing on the competitions he wins, and more competitions he wins. And he should be using that to focus on winning more stuff and things like that, and excelling in things. Do you see what I mean? So any little thing that happens that's like really good like that, intuitively, you must praise the universe and say, thank you for listening to me. My God, you know, it's amazing. You know, I always do like some people might be like, oh, you know, if you win the lottery or anything, I don't do the lottery. I believe you make your own luck in life. And that's another positive mindset thing. You must believe you make your own luck in life, not rely on other people or lottery money or anything. You make your own luck and wealth and happiness in your life. You know, Heather, my aunt, enters contest and sometimes she wins. She has given tickets to other people to make them happy. That's really good. My grandma used to be really good at winning raffles. Like, I have never been very good at winning things in the past, in general, but I did win a teddy bear once. A bunny, actually, which I've still got. That reminds, I'll show you my bunny I won, because I just want to show you my bunny I won. So I did win one thing. And it was an intuition thing, actually. Really, really, really intuition. So it's quite strange that you bring... Oh, my God, my picture's falling now. It's quite strange that you bring that up. Sorry, my Harry Potter photograph's fallen down. I don't know if you've seen this. It's me on a... I like to show you stuff. It's me. Whoever hasn't seen this, it's me. See, riding a broomstick. I think it looks very, very realistic. Like I could actually be doing that. So yeah, this I've still got, and I won it, and its name is Lucky. And if I remember right, I had to guess the name of it, I think, and I guessed it correctly. So yeah, anyway, I won this at a gymkhana. Did I have to guess the name or did I name it afterwards? Anyway, it was something to do with intuition because I had a feeling that it was something to do with some intuition stuff. I remember it, and I actually won it. Or I don't know if it was to do with the name, but I named it Lucky. So I think I might have named it Lucky after the fact I won it. But my number was called out as a raffle of Gymkhana. It makes her happy to see other people have it. It's really good, Heather. So yeah, this is the one I won. This is my own little teddy that I won. I didn't used to win very much, but I was so happy when I won this. It's so cute, isn't it? And I've kept it all these years. And I just love it because, you know, it's a very good omen for me, you know, and it's so cute. And I was so happy because I didn't used to win things. But my grandma's always had, well, when she was alive, she always won things constantly, all the time. You know, and my friend does bingo and she wins stuff, money and things all the time. So some people, I think, are really lucky in certain areas even more in their life. You know, I think you've got to find out what works for you, you know. I happen to be good at finding money. I found money in other things like bigger, like £20 notes, like two £10 notes to make £20. And like when I was coming back from dropping Sam off once at their hotel, I was walking along the road and over a bridge at the bridge, one of the bridges, and which is on the main road, is a bridge that, you know, the cars go over the bridge, over the road, and on the pavement, just on the road next to the pavement, was one £10 note, pristine note, with no one else around, just laid on the floor for me to pick up and have. Thank you, universe. That's what I say to that. Do you know what I'm saying? Say thank you, God. Thank you for universe for this £10. It's wonderful. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's really, really important. It is important to make other people happy, but also you must make yourself happy as well, you know, because I know there's people on this channel that watch this channel, they make a lot of other people happy. You know, they give a lot to other people, but sometimes they don't give enough to themselves and don't love themselves enough. You know, one of the things that does make you happy is giving to other people, making other people happy. It's a good thing to do. And one thing to do if you're depressed is to go out and make someone else happy, because it usually makes you happy. But if you go home at the end of the day and you're still unhappy with yourself, it doesn't matter how many other people you make happy, you're still not being happy yourself. I'm not saying that's your aunt's situation, Heather. I'm not saying that at all, obviously. Don't get me wrong. Because, you know, your aunt might be the type of person, hopefully, that was happy in herself and helping other people, you know. But there are a lot of, you know, there are people on this channel I know that help other people loads. They do loads for other people. Yet they're not always happy within themselves. And that's what I want you to be, as happy helping yourself. Do you know what I mean? Because seeing other people happy, wonderful, but you should want that for yourself. It's very important, self-love. You should want to make yourself as happy and be your own best friend, your own coach. You should give as much to yourself as you give to other people. Like years ago, I used to think that was selfish, and that's why I didn't do it. But I'm here to tell you it's not selfish whatsoever. It's actually really, really important to put yourself first. Because if you burn yourself out, if you get depressed, if you get ill, you can't help as many other people anyway. Right? So you're actually doing yourself a disfavour and them a disfavour as well. So you've got to look after yourself first and foremost, you know, in order to look after other people. You know, I mean, for example, when I had the respiratory infection, right, recently, what did I learn from having a respiratory infection, right? Was there a lesson in there? Of course there's a lesson there. Was it meant to happen? Everything happens for a reason. Of course it was meant to happen. Is it good? Did it feel good at the time? Losing my voice didn't feel great. But it meant me having to rest. I had to make myself rest because I needed rest. And in my mind, my subconscious mind, which I heard, but I wasn't listening to, was saying, oh, you can't rest. You can't rest. You can't rest. You can't rest. You can't rest until you've done this or till you're no longer in this world, which is not a very good mindset to have, is it? It's a very bad mindset to have in general, right? So now I am taking one thing step at a time. Instead of doing 55,000 things at once, I usually do. I'll still do quite a bit at once, but my 7 projects that I've got to finish, I'm trying to do them one thing at a time now. Focus on it, get it finished. I mean, the book's going to be ongoing for a few months. So I'm kind of going to have to juggle the book likely juggle the book and juggle some other work at the same time, which is going to be a bit difficult for me again, because I'm trying to just focus on one thing, and I'm trying to make sure that I nourish my inner child, which is one of the reasons why I'm going out dancing, making sure that my inner child's taken care of, that I'm not indoors working all the time, not having any time to myself. And it's great because I've spent some time seeing my asexual friends. So I think it's very good for me to see friends, but it's also important to spend time on your own and self-date. It's very important. Go out on your own. You've got to go out on your own a bit as well, because otherwise your own soul doesn't get in touch with yourself. You've got a soul, and you need to be in contact and connection with your own soul. And the only way you can do that sometimes is to be on your own, or to have experiences which are led by yourself. Do you see what I mean? Like going out for a walk by yourself, or going to eat by yourself, or going to think by yourself. Do you know what I mean? You've got to have some you time as well. It's very, very important. So it's very important that you have self-care. And it's very important that you don't just look after other people, but you look after yourself as well. Because if you're neglecting yourself, long term, that isn't going to bode well. I mean, years ago, even when I was a teenager, in birth certificate age, between the ages of 17 and 19, having counselling, the counsellor couldn't even understand why I was so miserable. She's like, well, you're good at things, you're talented, you've got skills, you've got everything going for you in your life. But that's not the way I saw it back then. There was a lot of problems and stuff, and I didn't see that, what she saw. And sometimes you can be around loads of people and still feel really unhappy. And that's because if you're not happy with yourself, and you don't love yourself, and you can't be your best friend to yourself, that's where the problem lies. It doesn't matter how many people you have around you, what situation. If you don't love yourself, not content with yourself, don't like your own company, can't stand looking at yourself in the mirror, that's where the problem lies. You are the root cause of your own problem initially. Yes, other people affect it as well, but then you're allowing those bad people to stay in your life. You're allowing, you have to learn to let go. I had to learn to let go of a dear friend recently, in the current capacity that I was knowing her, because she, she's a dear friend, but she wasn't being as good a friend as she could have been, and I need to let go of that person in that way if they're no longer, treating me as a valuable person in their life, for their own good and my own good. If they don't value my worth as much as they should do, which I'm going to talk about that a bit more in another video, then, you have to let some friends go sometimes, to go on their way, because their path sometimes changes and it's a different way. Maybe difficult to do, but you've got to, and respect the fact that they've got their own things going on in their life. So it's so important not to just look after other people, but look after yourself, because I think in society we're taught as, oh, if you're doing stuff for yourself, you're selfish. Like, you hear a lot of it in relationships. Oh, why are you doing that? You're so selfish. And I just think that's very, very damaging. Very, very damaging. Like, in my past, I would be like kind of thinking I have to do washing up, I have to do this cleaning, I have to do all this, that, and the other, because what will people think? And, and I'll be a bad partner and all that lot. But now I just think, no, Sand, you've got fibromyalgia. Your energy is far more important than you sat around doing some blooming housework or living a normal life that really doesn't serve you or your health. Do you know what I mean? Like, I love living on my own. To be honest, I find it very difficult to be in a relationship. I don't even know I'm suitable to be in a relationship sometimes, because I'm so happy on my own. I'm so happy on my own. I'm usually happier on my own than in a relationship. I've got great friends, fabulous friends, but I do like kissing. But, kissing's not everything, is it, in the world? So, just be happy with yourself. Happiness comes from within, and you choose your own happiness. You have to choose your own happiness life and generate your own happiness, because no one is going to do it for you. Oh, Sam, I love living alone. Yeah, I enjoy living on my own as well. I really do enjoy living on my own, because I don't have anyone bothering me. No one telling me what to do. I can come in and out of my home when I please. I'm going to be out dancing. I'm not going to get back till gone 2:00 tomorrow morning. That's why I'm going to be doing my live stream earlier, much earlier, by a couple of hours, because I can go out and come back when I want. I don't have someone going, oh, where have you been, or what you're doing. I don't have to cook for someone else. I don't have to clean for someone else. Do you know what I mean? I don't have to worry about what my place looks like apart from for me. I can get on with my work. I can do my own thing. I mean, I think you're far more productive when you live on your own. Like if you're with someone who's watching the TV, it's so distracting. Do you know what I mean? It's like I don't like sport. I don't want sport in my home. I'm a sports-free zone. Sports bores the daylights out of me. I'm not into sport at all. And I think when you live on your own, it empowers you to know that you can look after yourself. And also you can live the life that you want to lead, and you can plow your energies into doing stuff that you want to do that will make you happy. You can take up a hobby or interest, do pottery, photography, reading, writing, pretty much anything you want, and you can be very self-sufficient, and you can just like live in your own idealistic world. I think, you know what I mean? You've got no one telling you, oh, you can't, sport sucks. Oh yeah, we're in total agreement with that. Can't stand sport. It's so boring. Like, I'd rather, if I was doing a sport, I'd rather do it than watch it. But I don't want to do sport, I go out dancing. That's the closest of sport I get. But I love dancing. But yeah, so I'm really looking forward to dancing. I set the date as my self date to go dancing on my calendar. It's really, really important that you keep commitments to yourself as well, and that you don't let yourself down, because you have to be your own best friend in life. And this is serious, if you want to be happy, you have to be your own best friend in life. Why should you give your power away to other people? Why should you care so much about other people? You don't care about yourself. Why? Why is anyone else any better or more important than you? Right? Because if you don't exist, you can't even be in contact with those people anyway or help them. Do you know what I'm saying? So it's just the love and the happiness and positivity come from within. You have to generate it. You don't get given it, you have to generate it, which is something you're not taught as a kid. You're not taught you have to generate your own happiness. You literally have to, and you have to generate your own energy. Energy is not something we're given. Energy is something we generate. We create energy for ourselves by changing our state, by changing the way we move, by the changing the way we think, by the changing the way we do things, And I'm grateful that I had a respiratory infection, because I've learned that my health must come first. And I was saying to my friend Andy that was in my home yesterday, which for the first time I was showing them around my Christmas decorations in person. There's a affirmation thing I've got on my door, right? One of my wardrobe doors, and it says, I am healthy, I am wealthy, I am happy, and I am productive. And I said to them, which is the right order for that to be in? And I didn't know. I've always had it in that order on that, door, and I just put it as I thought it, right? I didn't really think so much about the order as such, but I just, whatever came to mind. But since my respiratory infection, I've learned that I need to be healthy, then I am happy, then I'm productive, and then I can become more wealthy. And that's the actual secret formula to being successful. Healthy, happy, productive, and wealthy. Because if I'm not healthy, right, personally, if I'm having low blood pressure, which I can get, and I can get really dizzy with, right, then I can't really work or do effective work, right? It feels like my head's not with my body, right? And then I have to lie down, and it's very disorientating. It makes me ill. And a lot of that comes from stress or grief, as I haven't got grief at the moment, because there's nothing at the moment that's in my life I need to grieve over. I have stress, but I can get subconsciously stressed, right? And so, like before I had my respiratory infection, I had the little voice in my head, my intuition, my inner child telling me, I want to go out. I want some playtime. You're working too much. You're just working all the time. You're not nourishing me. You're just avoiding me. You're ignoring me. What the heck are you doing? And I just thought, no, I need to work, because a lot of the entrepreneurs, they do teach you, you've got to work like a Trojan and not stop. But the problem with that is, if you're a type of person that really does need to embrace your inner child, and you've got an inner child that doesn't want you to just consistently work, and if you consistently work, you can burn yourself out and become unproductive. So if I'm healthy, if I'm doing things that don't make me so stressed, if I'm focusing on one thing at a time, getting through it, getting done, then I'm going to feel much more better, because I'm going to feel satisfied, and I'm making sure that if I do need rest, I mean, I haven't been resting quite as much lately, but I'm making sure that if I do need rest or time out, I'm having time out sometimes. I'm definitely dancing tomorrow night. I am doing my asexual meetup mastery course, but it doesn't matter that I haven't finished it yet, because I am definitely going out dancing. because it's good for me. When I go out, I tend to get more done. Like tonight, I've finalised, what is it, 8 videos, is it, or something? No, not 8. I had 8 videos. No, what have I? I'd already done 4 of them. So I've done 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 videos I've finalised tonight, like finished the last bits of editing for and got them processed. I know I want a place that has space. It makes it easier for emergency responders. That's realistic. I know I want a place that has space. It makes it easy for emergency responders. That's realistic for anyone. That's interesting, Heather. So do you think you're going to need emergency responders in the future? It's very interesting because, I mean, I live in a very small flat up a flight of stairs, which is hard to get through the door even because I have stuff behind the door. But I don't think about emergency responders because I don't think I'm going to be in that situation. I sometimes do think if I died here, no one would know. And that is kind of pessimistic, but it's kind of like true as well. But I believe in my ability to, even in dire situations, be able to get help and pray and focus that I will have the courage and strength to be able to alert someone to me being very sick or at death's door, and that I'll be able to save myself. I've got to believe in that, that's what I believe. So I'm quite good at running. Yep, I'm quite good at running on low power sometimes because I've kind of like developed that. Yeah. So, sometimes you have to be able to run on low power. It's not ideal. So low power is when you feel very you've like zapped a lot of your energy, you're running on empty because you're not really taking care of your own health. And you can go into survival mode where you're doing very little outside stuff. You're just focusing on one particular thing. Like, whilst that's not a good thing, it still is a good skill to have, so everything happens for a reason. And that's another major takeaway of today's video, if I haven't already said that, is like when you are how do you make yourself happy? You have to believe that everything happens for a reason. I've probably said this before, but I'm saying it again. Like the respiratory infection happened for a reason. It happened because it told me now I know enough about what I'm doing. I've got all the niches and things I need to do now for the next year. I have everything I need to do. I've got 7 projects I need to complete. I've got things I don't need to learn any more stuff. I mean, I'm always self-growing and learning, but the thing is that I've learned is if you don't implement what you learn, you don't get anywhere. And sometimes with so much information on the internet, YouTube videos and things out there, you can constantly learn and not do anything and implement it. And you can constantly worry and fret that you don't know enough. And I've been like that for a lot of years, but now it's my 8th year next year that 2020, yeah. So 2012 is when I started my entrepreneurial journey. And yes, it'll be 8 years next year. 8 is my lucky number. So next year is going to be a fantastic, successful year for me. And I now feel I know enough to be able to move forward in other businesses, and I don't need constantly hand holding anymore. I'm good to go on my own, because there comes a time in your life when you do realize that you can just keep going over YouTube videos and just keep watching everything, and it can kind of destabilize you and not give you the confidence in yourself, because you can kind of feel you always need to know more, that you don't know enough. But you have to realize in life that you do know enough and you are enough right now in this moment. I'm not saying to stop your self-growth completely or anything like that, but sometimes you have to say, right, I've learned enough now. I know enough to be getting on with. I'll learn little bits, other bits as I need to go on, but right now I know enough. Because like I've gone to loads of business seminars, but the amount of times I've gone over the same sort of thing and it's not gone into my brain, or I've not consciously taken it in. Do you know what I mean? I've been like seeing stuff over and over again, but I haven't been acting on it. So next year I'll be acting on all this stuff I've learned and having the confidence to help other people learn stuff. And it's going to be my own growth. I'm going to be having to learn more stuff to help others, but it's going to be good for me. And I now know enough. I'm confident that I now know enough. For example, how to make money online. I didn't really know anything way of making money online quickly and easily and actually making, money there and then, as it were. But now I do in one way. majorly for me. I'm really good at it. So, you know, that's given me a huge confidence boost that I can teach other people how to make money. I'm not talking about millionaire, making someone a millionaire. I'm not a millionaire, not talking about that, but I know how to make some money online now quickly and relatively easily, by following a certain method and formula that I do. So that's one of the business things I'm going to be teaching next year. And everyone needs to know that skill, how to make money. Do you know what I mean? It's the thing that you could always do with extra money. And it helps, you know, it's like selling things that you don't need anymore in your life. So clearing out the old, bringing in the new. So, you know, it's all good. Do you know what I mean? I've learned that skill, but I actually didn't realize that I had skills already to learn the full skill, because I use all my retail experience in this particular endeavor, and I married the formula that I knew in my past retail life with the new modern way of earning money online, and then I'm came up with my own formula that works. And it's like, wow, this is cool. Like, even if people want extra cash, which most people do each month, want some extra cash to go on holiday, go to cinema, have a meal out, you know what I mean? You know, any money's great, isn't it? And teaching people the skill of how to make money and not just scamming people is great. Because I didn't want to be one of these people that goes around, oh, I know how to make money online, when it's just like you're pretending. Because some people do that. They just talk bollocks. They do it when they don't actually know how to do it themselves. They're just pretending they know it. So get you interested, but I actually do. Do you know what I mean? I know what works and what doesn't work for me. And I particularly know this one way of doing it. And I actually do really enjoy it. I'm really good at it. So, and it gives me huge confidence. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, I'll be teaching people that next year, and I'm up for that now because I know I can do it. I know I'm not lying or pretending or bullshitting anyone that some people do. You know, I don't want to be one of these people that says something they don't do. I've never been that type. As you know from my books that I write, they come from my heart and my experience. They don't come from some like textbook and that, you know, and just shove it out there for you to read. They come from genuine people, other interviewees, and they come from my heart and experience. And I think that's another thing in life. In order to be happy with yourself, you really have to be your true, authentic you. If you lie to other people, you're just lying to yourself, you know? And that isn't a good thing. You know, you're bringing shame upon yourself, right? And that's not a good thing. That will help you to not like yourself, not to like yourself, because you'll be like, you know, you won't really know who you are. So it's really important to be in touch with the true, authentic you, to love you for who you are, and to be completely honest. And, you know, like, even with your faults and flaws, like, you know, I could argue I've got some faults and flaws, and, you know, like, I know I'm a very quiet taste individual sometimes, you know, some people don't like my personality, other people love it. So that, you know, like, there's no point in worrying about that. It's the way it is. But I'm just happy to be able to help the people I am. I'm happy that I love myself. I love me. I really do love my life. I really do love my lifestyle. I really do love being me, you know? And like I said, everything happens for a reason. So you have to try and just keep thinking positively. Like, I'm glad the respiratory infection happened, because now I'm taking better care of my health. Now I've slowed down and focused on one particular thing at a time. And now I know that I've nailed all the niches and things I need to know. I don't need to know tons more about other things. So I'm not saying we can't ever learn, but there comes a time where you've got to say, no, I know enough now. I know enough to know what I need to do right now in this moment. Like, there's still skills I need to know next year. Like, I need to know about more, like, for example, Facebook ads and more marketing and email marketing. And so I have to improve. I've learned quite a bit of that stuff already, but I need to still improve or implement, because I haven't even done a Facebook ad for anything. You know what I mean? I've not implemented any of this. So, you know, you have to learn in life and then implement. And sometimes, like, I think in this culture, in this world, we can just keep learning and learning and learning and learning and not actually getting anywhere. It's like going around circles. It's like, have you actually done anything with this learning? And it's like, well, no, not yet, not really. I've done a little bit. A little bit's no good. Is that you need to start actually believing yourself and thinking, right, okay, I don't need to keep watching like 20 YouTube videos a day or whatever. Sometimes I've been on seminars, like webinars, for like 3 hours at a time, and sometimes I watch the same one. And I've come to a stage now where I'm actually confident enough of myself to know what I'm doing. And I only need to watch webinars if I really need to know something that I don't already know. That doesn't mean to say you're a know-it-all. It means you're confident in your ability to work things out and to also, you know what you know in the moment. So you have to learn something and implement and trust yourself. And I think that's why a lot of YouTube channels get a lot of viewership, because they make people feel like they don't understand things. They make people feel destabilized. they make people hooked on wanting to know more, like they're not good enough. So you psychologically need to go on their channel to be good enough. But there comes a time when you have to decide, I know that's happening now. And I still want to learn from you sometimes, but I'll dip in and out to learn from you when I feel like it and when I need to, not because I don't value my worth or believe in myself anymore. Do you know what I mean? It's very, very important that you do believe in yourself and love yourself for who you are, and just keep generating your own happiness, your own positivity, and keep loving you. And then the more you love yourself, the more you'll be able to help other people more, and the more that you'll feel happy on your own, which in turn is going to help other people. Because if you're miserable, you'll either drive yourself crazy and end up hating yourself, or other people will feel you're miserable, and then they may not want to be around someone who's miserable all the time. I know it's horrible to say that, but it's the truth, So the best thing you can do is start self-loving yourself, enjoying your life, enjoying yourself. Then that self-love will filter throughout your body and your mind and your spirit, and then other people will be more attracted to you and want to be around you, and therefore you'll be better state of mind and physicality to help other people more and to cheer them up and to make them happy. But you must, make sure you look after yourself, because if you don't, like my health did it, it suffered this year a bit, but I don't call it suffering. I call it my health learned me some lessons. That's the best way to think of it. My health learned me some lessons. So I just have to actually put my health first for once in my life. And I think that's good. I had been neglecting my health a bit, to be honest. So now I know if I'm healthy, I'm going to be happy, I'm going to be more productive, and I'm going to be wealthy. So it's a great motto to have. Healthy, happy, productive, wealthy. Yay! Anyway, I'm going to love you and leave you after these beautiful 3 hours tonight of your gorgeous company. I want to say a big lot of love and thank you to everyone who's been watching this channel, especially for the last 3 hours. You're all very beautiful. I wish you to have a lot of love in your life, a lot of self-love, a lot of self-happiness, and really enjoying being you, and always generate your own happiness from within yourself, and really learn to love yourself. Look in the mirror and say, I love you, gorgeous. You're looking stunning. And stuff like that. It's really, really important. Positive self-talk all the way. Thank you so much, Andy, for coming on this channel and watching me for hours. Thank you, Heather, coming on this channel watching me for hours. And thank you, Sam, for coming on this channel watching me for hours. And I know there's another person been watching all the time. Whoever you are, lots of love to you as well. Thank you so very much for the thumbs up. If you like this video at all, found it useful, helpful, insightful in any way, shape or form, don't forget to give this video a thumbs up. Please share it with your friends or whoever may benefit. Don't forget to check out the links below for my Asexual Perspectives book, and also the Fibromyalgia Self-Help Handbook, which can help you to literally recover from depression and lower your anxiety and stress in your life and worry far less. So great video, said Sam. Good night, everyone. Good night and good morning. Yes, I'm going to be on my live stream a brief one later on tonight, Tuesday, because I'm going out dancing, and it'll probably be more around 9 o'clock. Okay, so it won't be like very long, because obviously I have to get going to dancing. So anyway, love you lots. Take care. Bless you all. And until next time, brace your quirky and each other. I love you lots. Thank you for your support. Thank you for listening. Take care. Lots of love. Lots of self-love. Bye. Have a good day.